All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Break the Rules. This is once again BTR After Hours, where we get to hear from you, the people, the good people, the fine people on all sides, on both sides. And unfortunately, there were some circumstances that prevented Tishrei from coming on right now. I hope to have her later on, but I definitely appreciate everybody tuning in. We are later on, as this proceeds, going to have an episode related to Gnosticism because I wrote Gnostic Information Edition because we have the Gnostic Informant over here. He is a listener, but he's going to be speaking later on. But first, elephant in the room, Gio.
Okay. Apparently, there is some kind of Twitter drama going on with Tishrei and this other dating coach guy about her relationship and his relationship, and I don't know, it's the whole cluster, and it's just unfortunate, it's a day for Twitter drama that's, happens to the best of us, I guess, but, yeah, I was really looking forward to this stream, though, but it's just, I don't know, maybe she might pop in, but probably not, I don't know, we'll see what happens.
We'll do it next time. By the way, right now you sound like Joey Two Times from Goodfellas, or whoever he was called. I don't know if it's your microphone, but apparently you're saying the same thing twice. Not all the words, but just particular words here and there twice. That may be a cell phone thing. Eventually we're going to have to figure out...
Maybe.
Yeah, eventually we're going to have to figure out how to do an emulator. Oh, I know why. Because because you didn't mute yourself on Zoom. That's why. That's why this is going on.
Oh, that's why I'm doing it.
Yes. No.
Okay, I'll mute myself on... Oh, you muted me. Okay.
Yes.
Howdy, boys.
Howdy. How are you doing?
Bastard.
How you doing, mean bastard? I love your latest Garfields, by the way. You post the best Garfields, but this particular one that you posted on Instagram, for some reason, not on any other place.
Really connected with you, huh?
Yes, it really connected. I know, Gio, if you saw that particular one, but there was something very special about it. I'm going to post...
Oh, that one, yeah.
That one, yes, exactly, that one.
Oh, God.
Well, I'm going to post it for all the people so that they see it as well. It's definitely a thing of beauty. But how have you been, man? We're going to get started with the Gnosticism pretty soon, but I just wanted to get a general lay of the land. So, what's been happening?
Oh man, where to even begin? It's been a wild couple of weeks. So I had a house fire.
Oh, that
technically
sucks.
Homeless.
Oh my God.
I'm still working my day job at night. Like that's still going. Podcast. I'm still doing the podcast every week, and I feel like I'm coming in red hot sometimes. As it feels like it's at the worst time possible for me to try to collect my thoughts and get to talking. That's when we record the podcast, and I often go into like a fugue state where it's like I have no idea what I've just said. I feel like that way on Break the Rules sometimes too, where I'll come on and I'll say things, and then later that night I'll start thinking, oh my God, what did I say? Why did I say that? Oh Jesus.
That's true. It's true.
Because I can't not bring the ruckus. I can't not go for it. What am I going to do? Come on and just not say nothing?
But is there any way that we could help out? Is there any charity or anything that we can submit money to help you rebuild? And how did
No.
But how did this fire happen?
No, I'm not looking for that. It's just what I got going on.
But how did the fire happen? Can you break it down? And I know that there's a little bit of an echo happening, and there's no excuse that I had with Gio where his mic was on. There is definitely some echoing happening. I don't know if you guys hear it as well, but I'm gonna see what exactly.
It's weird how the phone how the spaces work. I like there's got to be
it's got some
through the desktop on the good mics because it's I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. But the fireman told us it was the ceiling fans. That light inside the ceiling fans what burned up. I don't know.
Oh shit! So it was an electrical fire.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And that one room just completely ruined. The what do they call that? The breaker box, like that's all ruined. And they act like they were gonna have to rewire the whole place. And like there's water damage throughout the place where they've sprayed water everywhere. They poked holes through the ceiling and in a few different rooms because it was in the ceilings where the fire was. But so everybody got out. I was able to grab. I had about 10 minutes before the firemen showed up. Between me discovering, oh hey, the house is on fire, and you go to the neighbor's place, call the fire department. I'm gonna grab the expensive stuff and get the fuck out of here. So I was able to save the laptop, the computer, and the PlayStation. When there's a fire, you realize what's most important to you.
Definitely. Well, I still think that there may be some way that we could possibly help. I don't know, maybe think about it, because you are definitely an amazing dude. I really love having you on BTR.
Brother. The thing is, I just want people. I want to make people laugh. I want to make people have a good time. I'm here to entertain. It's a weird experience going through a fire, because you feel completely helpless. Because you see, like I had 5-10 minutes to grab everything and get out of there, and then just 3 or 4 truckload guys just show up, all with that gear on, like rolling out fire hoses, and I'm just standing there like a schmuck with my arms crossed, like, oh man, like I don't know, I don't even know where to begin, because that was what night was Black? It was after Thanksgiving. The day after Thanksgiving is when it happened. It was the Black Friday night.
Oh man, that is definitely a Black Friday, like a charred Black Friday, as you could say. But what I'm going to do is, first I want to figure out what you're using to speak, because that may actually help me out, so that echoes could be avoided. Because you do have a bit of that glitch.
I'm just on a phone. I'm just talking on the phone.
Weird. Okay, so right now what I want to do is I want to go to Gnostic Listener. He is a brand new speaker. I've never spoken to him before. I have no idea what he's going to say. The only thing that I do know about the listener is that Uber Boyo recommended him. And I really respect Uber Boyo's judgments. So, Gnostic Listener. You are a listener. Gnostic Informer. You should not be a listener. I invited you to speak, I believe. So, come in, speak, and look forward to hearing what you have to say. And also, everybody who's listening to this, don't forget to subscribe. We are currently live streaming this on BreakTheRules.tv, on Odyssey, on DLive.
So you are being recorded.
Yes, you are being recorded. Everything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. But anyway.
Oh no! Oh shit! Oh no!
Anyway, Gnostic Informer, let us know if you can get in here, buddy, because right now you're still labeled as a listener. But, okay, since you're not coming in here right now, let us add King Salmonfish, who's already a speaker. But King Salmonfish, I know you want to talk about relationships today, so we still owe it to you to speak about relationships for a bit. So King Salmonfish, relationships, we have Tishrei is listening right now, so maybe if there's anything you wanted to tell Tishrei or speak about relationships, go ahead, buddy.
All right, how's everyone doing? I hope you're...
Yo.
Yeah, my recent situation that was kind of interesting was I was watching You Are Here with Elijah Schaefer, and he had Rollo Tomassi on.
Oh God. Go ahead.
And so here's the story, right?
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Before the story, this is very important. It's not because of Mass Bastard. It is something having to do with the way that I am emulating this. So what I'm going to do is I am going to make sure, as much as I can, that we don't have this stupid echo going on. Because of that, what I'm going to do is, Gio, turn your mic back on into Zoom. I'm going to exit this, and I'm going to re-enter this call-in right over here. So that is what we're going to do right now. So Gio, unmute yourself, and I am going to still keep speaking inside of this thing, so you guys will be able to hear me on both fronts. And unfortunately, you guys are not going to be able to hear Gio. So Gio, turn your mic back on, and at the same time, you'll be able to speak there. There may be a bit of an echo, but it's better than the other echo. And meanwhile, I'm going to figure out a way to stream this properly. So bear with me, everybody. We're going to figure this out. Oh, you are still muted, Gio, right now.
Wait, what do you want? What did you want? Why do you want me in the Zoom?
Yes, the reason why I want you in the Zoom is we are dealing with a technical issue. We are dealing with the issue of echoes going on. Yes, this is the Wild West, people. We are adjusting to this new format. Since I'm hearing people speaking in echoes all the time, like having their words be doubled up sometimes, that is not the way I want to do things. I'm a professional. I want things to professionally run, which is why let me see what I'm going to do about this just with OBS here. So bear with me.
Well, the
I'm
thing
gonna
is, I
figure it
can't
out.
listen to the chat. Like the
well, you could use your
faces.
phone. You could use your phone at the same time. You can listen to it. You could use your computer
I
your phone
can.
at the same time. So this is what I mean by smooth sailing, people.
Yeah, but I wonder if there's gonna be a feedback.
Don't worry about the feedback.
Someone else in the thing talk for a minute. Like King, you're gonna say King Salmon Fish. We're gonna.
Yeah.
All right, so the other day, Elijah Schaefer, Sidney Watson had Rollo Tomasi on You Are Here, and apparently I didn't know anything about this guy, but apparently he's the godfather of the Manosphere or whatever is his.
It's debatable, but yeah, he's one of them.
Well, that's the claim, right? So the stream was labeled something along the lines of how to be a man in a feminist society. And I just got absolutely infuriated at a certain point and started blowing up the super chats. Cost me maybe $25, not too ridiculous. But I was like, I was just sitting there listening to them talk about, like sexual dynamics and power and politics and, like all these fucking statistics and mathematics and Tinder and all this bullshit. And I was like, okay, cool. But you didn't say love or romance a single time. The only time you said love was when you were like shitting on the free love movement and its failings, which was honestly a lot of that was a sexual movement. The love elements of the hippies are still effectively true. But yeah, that was my whole thing about it. It's like, I can't believe you're on here, like framing things, first of all, like how to be a man in a feminist society, which is already kind of like a loaded frame. And then you don't mention the word love once when you're talking about relationships. You're not talking about romance at all. And it's like, okay, so what you've done is you've turned everything into a sexual social engineering diagram. And like, this is just pure cancer. Like, this is literally the way that I look at it is that the entirety of our existence is affected spiritual / sexual. Because like you could consider survival and just existing, generally speaking, as like a sexual thing. Or you could reverse that and say like sex is survival, just like passing on your genes. It doesn't matter, but it gets into this materialism with no soul, no at all. You have no game at all. Like, you are so full of fucking game that you have no game whatsoever. And like what about stupid pictures of your feet and like flowers and dumb poems and stuff, bro? Like I know that seems ridiculous and cliche, but my whole take on it is literally this, that love is a transcendent force that, I mean, it's not exactly a weapon, but it is also the most powerful weapon in existence. And like trying to turn everything into an argument about who's gay and who's trans, and it's women's fault, it's men's fault, somebody with their innate characteristics, which could also be considered sexual, even if it's just like skin color or whatever. That's the entire fucking problem. That is the whole problem. Like, where's the love at in this? Like, where's the romantic soul of the West? Because like freedom is literally just an expanse of tragedy without love. Like, there is absolutely no point to freedom. Freedom is an absolute nightmare without the element of love involved in it. That is the entire reason for our freedom, the reason we have it, and like in the first place, and the whole point of having it. And even further, that is the means to the future. I mean, it is literally the case that without love, all of our relationships will fail. People will not reproduce successfully, and the whole world will die. And also, there will be nothing worth fighting for, to fight against the tyrants and supervillains that plague us probably forever.
Well, I think the problem is that when you start to quantify things into these,
Hold on,
like,
Gio.
let's
Sorry, I'm
call
sorry
it-
to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I figured out a way out of this predicament. So I think it's definitely my emulator that's fucking up. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close the emulator, but you think, oh no, in the live stream, like, this is not a problem for the people who are in the actual Twitter space. This is gonna be a hell of a problem for the people who are live. So what I figured out is I have this mic, it's a really good mic, and I have this over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to connect this to this so you will hear it from the mic. You're not going to see it on the screen over here for the live people, but this way the people on Twitter are going to enjoy it just like you're enjoying it right now. And the live people, the sound may be a little bit different, but hell, it's still going to be good enough while I figure this shit out. So thank you very much for bearing with me here. I am going to transfer this right now. So let's see, I'm going to turn off my mic and let's see how this goes.
So, can you hear me, Lev? When you look at things through this, like, quantifiable lens, which a lot of these, like, pickup artist types do, I mean, really, like, that's not the point. Like, love is not a point. They have a very, like, machinic and materialist, like, basis of what they view relationship dynamics. And, like, yeah, Rollo is a smart guy, obviously, but it's just that, I don't know, something about it is kind of alienating. But okay, so we have a request from Scorpion Rising, but we want, how about Maz, you talk first and then Scorpion Rising. So Maz, take it away, brother.
Thanks for having me back on again. I loved the last podcast or whatever, the last room, but I'd like to say I think the MGTOW and all that stuff, I think it's just dumb. I think it's incredibly dumb and incredibly arrogant to say that men have no responsibility in the failingness of romance and marriage and all these things that are currently failing in the West due to, many factors. Especially economics is what people. I don't want to go materialistic. I know there's issues with the spiritualness of the West, but one of the main issues that when people can't get spiritual is because they are lacking something in the material, money, food, water. I mean, you can look at any nation who's lacking food, water, or the basic essentials. That they're more animal than man is what they act like. They're more barbaric. They are looking for resources to sustain themselves, and then they can think about love and all these philosophical ideas. And with one of the things that I think shouldn't drive people is I'll do anything for it. Like I'll do these things come with time. If you just put yourself out there and just talk to people and just generally have a good time, things will work out for you. That's generally how it's worked out since the dawn of time. If you are yourself and a woman likes that, which usually if you're a good person or even a decent person, that'll work out. And these people are overcomplicating it, like you mentioned, which I totally agree with. About the stats and all these things. It's just not the way it used to be. Well, you know what? Then we should create an economy where it is profitable and even more successful to just have one person going out there to work, whether it's a man or woman, so someone else can stay home. Generally, I hope women do this because they're better at that sort of role. Not saying all of them are, but you get what I'm saying. They're better at.
Well, there's like pro-natalist policies in places like Hungary. But Scorpion, please, I hope you're not going to Fed post me back in one day.
And I believe
what is your QE query? Yeah, comment. So Scorpion, go. Then maybe Maz, and then.
And I was born in the year of the Scorpion as well, so I like
I just want to go off for a minute. If you are a grown man beefing with a 19-year-old, you have no business letting other people, telling other people how to get chicks.
It's true, bro. It's true.
Yep.
Wait, who's the 19? Wait, who's 19-year-old here?
The lubes chick or whatever.
Oh, not Tishrei, but the other.
Yeah,
the
well,
other...
that would be Tishrei. Rubes is
I
Tishrei.
see. Yeah, that is. And this is a relationship advice guy, no? Or is that?
Yeah. He sells courses on how to like
so
get your dream
fucking
chick.
dumb. I'm sorry. That's fucking idiotic. I hate that guy now. Fuck that guy.
This is amazing.
Snake
At
oil
the same
salesman.
time, I think if you spend over 5 hours a week on the internet, you have no business telling other people how to talk to people.
Oh no!
I'm sorry. It is all
Bam!
a joke. If you were over, you guys don't say how to talk to people though. You guys are like terminally like. I respect the online energy, but no, you're not giving out relationship advice, and I appreciate that because anyone on the internet
Only
giving
5
relationship.
hours. Goddamn.
Well, okay, yeah, no, 5 hours. If you're on the internet more than 5 hours, you are irony poisoned, you are blue pilled, you are cringe, you are soy jack.
Oh, I'm being murdered here. Oh my
You
god!
need to touch grass or touch
mean,
snow.
Yeah. Touch snow where I'm from. Yeah, touch snow.
Tell someone happy holidays or Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah, but
This is
you
a
are
Merry
in no
Christmas stream
position.
right now.
Some boo.
Yeah, well, in Canada, it's going to be more like...
A. Holly wants to speak up. Now, A. Holly, you don't follow me, but I'm going to trust...
oh, man,
no
Gio.
one who has
Gio,
an
all
anime
this...
avatar has ever done
all
anything
this
wrong, so
trust. You're a very trusting guy.
But please listen. We don't. Here's the thing. Here's the policy. If you want to speak, it's being broadcast on YouTube and on Odyssey and elsewhere, and so we would appreciate if people don't fed post. And of course, Twitter, they monitor the spaces now apparently. So.
Gio, you know that saying that
not
Gio, you know,
advantageous
yeah, but
to fed post.
Gio, do you know that?
So
Everybody, make sure that you red pill the people listening, and like fucking get them on our side, and then they can go off and act, as agents in secret for us.
So okay, we also have Verse. So I can actually, I wonder if I can make Verse we'll add him as a speaker, but there is also Gnostic Informant. So yep. So let's go.
Let's go Verse, and I think finally.
Oh my God, is this Mimi? Is this? I think it is.
Hold on, Gio.
I'm not gonna.
Gio, hold on,
time.
Gio.
But it's all right.
Wait, Gio, can you hear me?
Wait, where did she go?
Gio, can you hear me?
Mimi, don't be afraid. We'll let you speak.
I noticed, by the way, that my mic was off this
it's
entire
no longer
time.
Wild West on the spaces.
Oh man, okay.
No.
Hold on, Gio. Gio. You are a very trusting individual. I don't know who these people are. What I am gonna say is Verse goes first. This whole time I thought I was speaking and nobody was able to hear me. So now I'm finally able to speak. So Verse, go for it, and then I want to get Gnostic Informant on, because finally he's figured out how to speak, so we're going to speak with Gnostic Informant as well.
Wait, I just was saying hi. I don't know what we're talking about. I just showed up.
Alright, well, we're talking about relationships. There was some drama that happened with this Rollo Tomasi guy. Is that who it was?
No, it wasn't him. It was some other...
No, Rubes. No?
Yeah.
Rubes and Pat, whatever his name is. Pat Sedman?
Yeah, Stedman. Yeah, but is he related to Rollo Tomasi? I wasn't paying attention.
No. They're totally different spears. He's a relationship advice guy. Rollo, I guess, is... Would you consider Rollo a pua? Pickup art? Yeah, I mean, that's... He's the scientist of pickup artistry.
I consider him a pupa.
A pua pickup artist.
Verse, I know that you're very busy right now. You're doing a couple of things, but I did want to hear from you in general, just how things are going, and keep people updated on what's going on with Verse's life.
Because of the I've been breaking my rule of dating e-girls this year, and it's been mostly trash. So So there's 2 rules about dating that I think you guys should all listen to that I've been breaking because I thought that maybe my heuristic wasn't working. So I was like, let me break my own rules to see. And no, I was right the first time. So first rule, never cross state lines for pussy. So if there's literally zero reason ever to cross state lines for a girl. There's a million girls in your own state. or province lines or whatever the hell you guys, or euros, I guess country lines, whatever the fuck. So that's the first one. So I've been dating out of state because I've been online. And secondly, e-girls in general, no e-girls. I was like, okay, well, dating normies. I was like, normies haven't worked, right? And I have a following. And when I try to explain to girls what I'd be doing online, they're always like, and they don't get it. So I was like, okay, well, how about I just, delete the apps, and then if girls show up in my DMs, I'll date them. And did that a few times this year, and all of them absolutely horrific situations. So I'll never do that again. I'm never doing that again. So basically, I couldn't tell you where to find the mommy, the chica, the wifey. So
who is the lucky e-girl, by the way? Who is the lucky e-girl?
They have way too many followers. I actually can't say.
Oh, come on. Oh, DM me, please. You got to tell
me. I'll DM you. Yeah, I'll DM you.
Oh, my God.
They have at least as many followers as I do, so I can't mention.
I'm sending
Does it rhyme with Wenty?
What?
Does it rhyme with Wenty?
No, I wish. She's fun. I want to hang out with her at the bar. She's lit. I would date her. Sort of.
Now you got to move to Texas, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually sending a package of prints and a letter to an e-girl that is in New York. But, I mean, she's my friend.
No, Venti is so normal in person, I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
She's not at all like her online person.
Yeah,
not even like remotely.
She's very nice. I remember we got to hang out at the National Arts Club. I showed Venti around, and, she's just a regular, down-to-earth person who's had a pretty hard life in the beginning. She grew up in the hood. So now she's living in Texas, and that's a move up.
Yeah, no, honestly, if she wasn't online, you would never know she was online because she's almost too normal. She's like, it's kind of strange how normal she is. It's funny.
So, no e-girls, I guess.
No e-girls. No e-girls, no exceptions. I spent a year. I was trying to see if maybe I had been too harsh. Maybe I was wrong. You got to be systematic,
open-minded.
Scientific, open-minded, exactly. And I tried 3 separate. And also, I was dating not for. So normally I don't date for a relationship. Normally I just I'm like whatever, right? But I was like, okay, let me only pick girls I would be in a relationship with, right? Let's try to be serious. So maybe I did too many variables changes at the same time. Maybe pick one variable at a time and test that out. But I changed all the variables
what do you
simultaneously.
think, on a deeper level, what do you think is the appeal of the e-girl on an unconscious level? Do you think it's basically a sort of aesthetic male fantasy, or do you think it's something else? Or is there some deeper sort of pull of the extremely online girl?
Well,
then we'll
normally
get Scorpion as well. So
I normally I don't like the e-girl at all. But the appeal is there's I don't want to say
it's called
it's
the
like
male
an idol.
gaze.
They're an idol. They're an idol. So they're like a lesser deity, like a lesser celebrity. They have the allure of a celebrity and that they're unattainable, but they're also attainable because they're not actually celebrities. They're actually like normal people that you can interact with. So you get both the girl next door and the celebrity fantasy at the same time, which is a horrible combination.
Oh my God!
It's a siren song.
I mean,
it's the mermaid.
Think about all the gooners.
Male gaze is what it's called. Females have them too, with those guys that you see in those TLC movies where it's like they're so
Hallmark,
but they're secretly Hallmark. Sorry.
Yeah. It's a siren song.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Because there's male mermaids.
I like this. I like this comment, by the way.
So there's a brain circuit that causes men to look at women, stare at them. So the feminists win that one. There is literally a brain circuit that causes men to hyper focus on attractive women.
Yeah. The male
also,
gaze,
we figure out female attractiveness before conscious thought. They did studies on that too. We have no choice but to objectify women in that we literally cannot view them not sexually.
It's fun.
So I mean that's fine. I mean, but they do win that one. I'll give them that.
Oh my God!
They need to stop complaining because there's nothing you can do about it. So get over it.
Even further, I actually have an interesting piece of information about the e-girl phenomena. So I actually made a video called Thirst Trap Economics. So if you are desperate, value is a matter of perception. So if I'm walking through the desert and somebody's got a glass of, I'm holding a briefcase with $1 million, and let's just say that's all I have to my name. They're going to get that $1 million in exchange for that glass of water. So people will actually, because of the nature of value and how it actually functions and perception and all that, people will actually go into massive amounts of debt over this like exploitation of desperation phenomena, whereas there's actually an alternative economic model that provides satisfaction, but that's much rarer because the exploitative stuff is so much easier to do. But the satisfaction stuff actually provides economic value that is enormous as well, and it actually gives people what they need and want. That's why you see certain people in the market right now doing like so well out of nowhere with no institutional backing, because people actually want that stuff. Even further, the unconscious, Jung's model of the unconscious talks about the anima. So effectively, there's this feminine archetype of the illusion casting sorceress within a man's deeper part of his mind. And so what we do is we pretty much project onto absolutely everything that we're experiencing, because what you're actually experiencing is an internal simulation of the world that can be more or less coherent or dissonant. So we actually project pretty much onto everything. And so people are possessed by this anima, which is the image of a woman rather than the woman themselves. And it actually can function as a kind of sexual selection hunting mechanism. They have found that jaguars and large cats and stuff are very, very high in empathy, because by having some internal understanding of what your prey is, you're much more successful as a hunter. So it's kind of a sexual selection hunting.
Yeah, you can embody what you're going after, sort of, and then make the decisions that they would, and that, you know.
Yes, and mirroring is incredibly predictive.
Do you also think? Do you also think there is something going on with the Coomers and the Gooners, where when you're dating the e-girl, you know in the back of your head that there's all these Coomers and Gooners that are thinking about her and gooning it out to her.
Oh yeah.
And how does that affect the whole relationship? So I don't know, Verse, if you can speak on that part of it.
It would drive me crazy.
Like
if I started dating a certain someone with a certain attributes. Never mind.
Well,
I'm not going to mention.
Well, Verse, I don't know, like this lady,
mine, I don't want to
this lady that you were dating, did she have men in her DMs that you were able to see the messages of, what they were writing, anything like that, or she kept that stuff private? She kept the business end private from the relationship?
No, she showed me guys who was sending it to, but it was usually to make fun of them.
That's funny. No, that's actually funny though.
Yeah.
So remember, if you DM an e-girl, their boyfriend's gonna read it.
Yeah, they show you. They'll show you all the DMs of like the funniest ones or the most insane ones, and then usually laugh about it.
Women do that all the time. I have a really good friend of mine, and she does that. She just shows me the text of all these dudes. It is very funny. It is very funny, which is why I do not text women other than the ones that I know are my friends, because I know that shit is definitely going to happen.
Hold on. I want to get wait. Before Scorpion, somebody who is waiting for a very long time here, who I would love to hear from, not even about Gnosticism first, but about this particular subject, is Gnostic Informant. So finally, Gnostic Informant, you've got the floor, baby.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What is going on?
Hey.
Not much.
The last guy that was talking, that's a good segue. He was talking about Jung. And if it wasn't for Carl Jung, I'd probably be an atheist, because, you know, reading the Red Book and his other book, Man and Symbols, here he talks about exactly what you were talking about with the anima and the archetypes, of the world archetypes in psychology. But to understand Gnosticism, I like to go back and I like to paint a picture of the world in the 2nd and 3rd century BC, when Hellenization of the world was taking place because of what happened with Alexander the Great. And you get in Egypt, you get Hellenized Jews, you get Hellenized Egyptians. And what happens basically as a result is this idea of attaining gnosis, right? So Christianity is about salvation through faith, but Gnosticism is about salvation through knowledge, through gnosis. And it's not just regular knowledge, it's an intuitive knowledge of the divine, of the pleroma. God is the pleroma. The pleroma is God in a way. So basically what I'm getting at is, you get these groups, you get these mystery cults sprouting up in Egypt and Syria and Turkey, And we call them Gnostics now, but they didn't really call themselves that. They had different names for different cults or whatnot. But basically, the thread in between all of them is that to attain gnosis is to like be like Neo in the Matrix. It's to break out against the archons of this world, and it is to attain a level of knowledge where you are one with the monad, which is the beginning of all things. It's the Big Bang, if you will. And the realization itself is the salvation rather than faith. It's the gnosis. If that makes sense.
Well, I have my criticisms of it from a Catholic perspective, but that is a good point, though. I think that everyone... Well, I like to say that, like Eric Vogelin, it seems that Gnosticism, both in its original and also secularized
Oh, by the way,
forms,
Gio, could you speak louder?
sort of driving... What?
Yeah, you speak louder into the mic. I'm trying to make sure
Oh,
the mic
sorry,
is level.
yeah.
No problem.
Well, no, like Vogelin said, like a lot of what's driving contemporary life is basically secularized versions of Gnosticism in some ways. But I know that, Scorpion, you're voraciously requesting to speak, and also we have Glink coming in.
Hell yeah.
So also we have Astral, if you want to come in, brother. And Such a One, it's been a long time since you've been on BTR, my friend.
Yeah.
And also
Such a
Conan,
one.
if you want to speak, if you guys want to speak. Also, anyone else, like the
these
policies
are...
you have to...
Yeah, the policy is that we have to know you. That's the policy. And if we don't know
But also,
you...
you have to at least follow us to...
No, we have to know you, personally. Gio, we have enough people. You never know. That's all I'm saying.
Lev, you're dropping the kayfabe. You have to give them the illusion that they could speak on Break the Rules.
Fair warning, if you follow Gio on Twitter, he will post excellent content.
Lev is definitely breaking kayfabe.
Wait.
You have to pretend like it's possible.
Do you know how...
business!
Gio, hold on.
There's audience plans.
Here's how we do it. Here's how we get people to... if you want to speak on Break the Rules... 100% guaranteed. Here's what you gotta do. Patreon.com/breaktherules. Go there, become a patron, and then you will speak as much as you want. You could speak about anything. Hell, you could even throw a gamer word, and we're probably just going to delete the stream, but it'll be well worth it. If you're like if you're $1,000 patron, then you could just like do whatever the hell you want.
$1,000,
and then we'll clean up your damage like the Jannies we are.
With Janny,
that's like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but anyway,
we have no shame. We have no shame. So who's speaking next?
If I may ask, what was your criticism you said you had as a Catholic?
Oh, that? Well, I think Gnosticism is the first heresy for the obvious reasons in that it puts a fundamental bifurcation on the schema of creation itself to sort of posit that there is a lesser God and a greater God, and that the creator of the world, the creator of what we believe to be the Lord's creation, that is sort of there's
the
a lot
demiurge.
of the demiurge. Like there's a lot of history there. St. Augustine and so forth, and the Manichaeans.
Well, I was going to say Marcion was before St. Augustine. Marcion was one of the church fathers. He was a Gnostic. He went to Rome and tried to sell his version of Christianity to the Romans, and they denied him. So he ended up going to Asia Minor, modern day Turkey, and it thrived over there. That's where Gnosticism took off. He was so there's a couple different versions of Gnosticism where they got Sophia and the demiurge mated and created the Logos, who's the Son. There's other versions where the demiurge and is just created everything on its own. And this is Marcion's actual version. Marcion says the demiurge was created by the monad, and the demiurge is the God of the Old Testament. And the God of the Old Testament is evil, and that's why he does things like he hardens Pharaoh's heart and then blames the Egyptians and kills all the firstborns because of what he did to harden Pharaoh's heart. And so Marcion or Marcion's looking at these things and saying, this was not a loving God of the New Testament. This is not the God of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ had a different father than this. In fact, in the Bible itself, Jesus tells the Pharisees, he says, your father is of the devil. That's actual it's in the New Testament. So Marcion's pointing to these verses and saying, look, there's two different gods here. And he's saying that Set from the Egyptians, also Saturn and Kronos, are the demiurge. And this is actually Plato wrote about this in his writings and some of his it's slipped my mind right now, but Plato wrote about the demiurge and Gnosis as well, and so did Pythagoras.
In Timaeus.
Yeah, Timaeus. Thank you. So yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Could I interject here for a moment?
Go for it,
Sure,
Blake.
go ahead.
And be careful driving.
Sorry.
Be careful driving, okay?
Yeah, I'm actually driving through a rainstorm right now, but it sounds
Good
like
luck, man.
Based.
Gio's view of Catholicism views God as this more like centralized, personified entity, this like singular being almost that everything is connected to, maybe. Whereas if I understand it correctly, the Gnostic view is more like God is this decentralized force that everyone is able to tap into. Is that kind of correct?
Well, centralized is kind of the Trinitine God. That's a pretty basic. Go ahead.
I would like to bridge a few gaps here and use some like Jungian alchemical conjunctio oppositorum stuff to like connect all these things. So Jung's model of psychology is effectively that everything that can be conceived of or experienced in any context whatsoever is psychology.
Right.
Like, in order to actually have any idea of what's going on, you have to take all information into account, which would include all of the different religions. And like, how do they all exist in the same world? What allows that to be the case? So for me, I actually I achieved Satori. I found inner peace. I know that God exists. I have had literally like divine intervention type fucking things. Well, no, here's the weird part. So there's an old program called Project Looking Glass, where apparently they got some consciousness interfacing technology from a UFO, and the general idea would just be that it just like soups up your basic mind to just do more of the same thing, which could see as being like hyper psychic, but effectively it allowed them to see all possible future timelines. And what happened apparently was that all of the timelines converged around 2012, and they couldn't do anything about it. And then that left them with two timelines. One of them was a great awakening, and the other was a global cataclysm and basically apocalypse. So the weird thing is Terence McKenna actually talked about 2012 as well, and he may have been the root of a lot of those rumors. But the interesting thing is that in my life in 2012, I literally had a crazy ass vision where like I stepped back out of my body and clearly saw two paths and like chose one. And then I actually made a deal with God. And ever since then, like I found inner peace and my life has been absolutely bonkers, out of control. And so the interesting thing is I know God exists. I've seen multiple miracles take place.
What was the deal?
What do you mean?
Like what was the context of that deal?
Okay, I'll tell you. So basically, I was in love, and that was like the whole reason that I came to the table. I was actually an agnostic. I was never an atheist. I just simply always knew that I did not have the answers, and so it seemed strange to me. My kind of modern American, not to involve Christian parents, they kind of like had told me some of what was going on, but had not gotten into any depth because they're just like modern boomer normies or whatever. I had like half-assed knowledge about Jesus, and I had never really doubted him. And I watched the entire of my generation effectively go against the church, like rebel against the church. But somehow, in very Jungian style, Jesus was never refuted or removed from the throne, which I found very interesting. And so what happened was I honest to God thought the world was going to fucking end. And I said, you know what? I'll make a deal with you. If you exist, I will believe in you and I will do literally whatever it is that you ask of me. And in exchange, I want the people that I love and the world to, survive and have hope and love and laughter and joy. And so that's kind of how that.
The chat is. Oh, sorry, did I cut you off?
Nah, you're fine.
Well, I was going to say the chat is kind of shredding you a little bit. Schizo moment, take your meds.
Gio. First of all,
actually,
yes.
No, wait, hold up. Let me refute that.
Okay.
I was given I was given multiple psychological evaluations recently by highly paid professionals, and they determined that I do not need any medication. In fact, I am a case that they are not qualified to handle, and they
Jesus Christ.
they have no idea how I'm okay.
Based
Let's
based
suppose
to
that you're
a complex case.
let's
I
suppose
remember
that
my
you're
first
divine.
manic
Hey, Gio,
episode.
can I point something out to you if I may?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So I want to know what you think about John 8:44. If you probably don't, if I don't know if you can pull it up. I can
What
read it
is
for you real
that?
quick.
Sure.
So he says, and this is the new international version. You belong to your father, the devil, and you want to carry out your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies. What do you think he was talking about right there?
Is he not? Isn't that
Father-
Jesus in the desert talking to?
He's talking to the Pharisees.
Oh, the Pharisees. Oh, never mind.
Well,
Yeah,
that
that was,
kind of takes me back to me bridging the gap. So my thing that I wanted to get at is kind of like alchemy. And if you read Dan Brown's book, The Lost Symbol, he openly talks about the circumpunct, which is like a symbol for God or alchemical gold. And my issue with this and connecting it to the demiurge is that when I was in jail and I was being tortured by the state wrongfully,
By who?
the
Sorry,
state,
sorry.
literally the fucking the U.S. whatever. Just move on from this, please. So what happened was there was a chaplain there, and he said to me, and he gave me some books that basically said that every single sin is just idolatry. The root of the word sin means to miss the mark. So, like, if you are aiming at the wrong things, fundamentally that is a sin. And so that's kind of the idea, is that everything would be idolatry. Like, you're worshiping sex, or you're worshiping lesser gods with a lowercase g. And even further, even any symbol for God, like false images, are not God himself. And so, like, the idea of a demiurge would kind of be anything you could possibly conceive. And God himself would be so transcendent and beyond, and also woven into everything, that you would do absolutely no justice to attempt to say that you comprehend.
Well, let me respond.
Wait,
I think,
Gio, hold on. Before you respond, can somebody, whether it's you, Gio, or somebody else, post a link? I posted it on my Twitter to the Patreon, to the YouTube version of this, just so there's a link to the YouTube version for those who want to watch this live.
You mean in the chat? In the chat?
In the Twitter space chat. I don't know why I'm not able to do that. I'm trying, but for some reason it's not working.
Yeah, let me do it.
All right, thank you.
So anyway, so this is the original stream. It's got the link in it. So I think John was simply referring to the Pharisees not being a part of the believing in Christ in that sort of Abrahamic line. So like, you are of the devil. I think that's, again, this is a problem with Gnostic thinking, at least from a Catholic or Orthodox perspective, is that when you place that sort of, when you predicate that, like, creation itself has an element, or God has an element of evil there. Like, again, this is why Jung got into trouble for Answers to Job. He had a very kind of quasi-Gnostic interpretation of the Job story by saying that, well, you know, God has to have a part of evil. Very heretical, very haram. But anyways, Glink, you wanted to talk, or Scorpion, or whoever. We have Crocodile as well.
No?
I want to pose a question here, and anyone can answer, or we could all try to figure it out together, I guess. One thing that King Salmonfish was talking about, that I think it seems true to me, that we are on this sort of at this crossroads of, like, complete tyrannical matrix hell world, or some sort of great change, great awakening. And it seems like people are the deciding factor between where we go. And I guess what the question is like, okay, like the Renaissance, like different, periods of enlightenment in history, how can we choose the better path? Are we able to choose the better path through technology, or is that the wrong method? I mean, yeah.
Well, it's. I think it goes back to the question of
faith. My take.
Wait, hold on 1 second. I think it goes back to the question of faith versus getting more wisdom. Because you can, let's say, go the faith approach where you have a traditional system that you live under. So you would have the church, for example, Geo, you would have the Catholic Church, somebody would have the Protestant Church, or not many Protestants here, I notice. It's more Catholics and Orthobros. So the Orthobro would have the Orthodox Church, and I think that the disagreement mainly that Geo is getting at here is that you may be seeing something subversive, something not satanic but Luciferian, something prideful about acquiring knowledge through your own effort, and you would rather put it to this tradition that was...
I want to rebut this real quick.
Yes.
So I actually, not only do I know that God exists, I can't comprehend him, but I actually have faith in him, and I believe in him. That is the bridging of the gap. It's that, like, he's basically my friend and my father, and so I trust in him, and I believe in him, and I believe that everything will be ultimately good. And if you look at, like, just if I'm getting canon at all correct, Lucifer doesn't have free will because he's an angel, and the angels don't have free will. And so the interesting thing is that I'd kind of set up this whole drama. It was just a setup from the beginning. And I actually believe that it's ultimately good, and that, Lucifer's job is to keep polarity in reality, such that our free will has... And so even evil to the ultimate extreme serves an ultimate good. And I have started the practice of simply looking for the good in absolutely everything, and I just find it every time. And as far as this technological, this whole monstrous, I think it was Uberboyo, it was Steph, who called this archetype Machina.
Yeah.
This, like, wounded child that turned into a gigantic metal demon beast that is trying to consume everyone and put them in the Matrix.
There was something, by the way. Sorry,
Akira.
King Salmon. Sorry to interrupt you. There was something in the chat, and by the way, sneed those super chats. Sneed those super chat. That's what I gotta say from now on. But we have a comment from Romero Stevens. Lucifer had free will. That's how he fell and deserved punishment. So any thoughts on that before?
There you go.
Okay.
I think we should point out that Lucifer is a later translation from the in the Latin Bible in the 400s from Jerome's Bible. The Lucifer is not in the Hebrew Bible. Lucifer doesn't even exist in Judaism. However, what the Catholic Church was trying to do was they're actually applying an archetype as Lucifer being the light bringer, falling. And Hallel is the Hebrew word from Isaiah 14, where they got that from. It doesn't say Lucifer; it says Hallel, which actually does mean light bringer. So it's not a wrong translation; it's a later translation. And the reason why I bring that up is because it's interesting to me that Jesus is actually called the morning star. So is just like Mithra is called the morning star, just like Dionysus was called, or I'm sorry, Apollo was called the morning star, and so was Lucifer. So it's funny to me how you got the New Testament ending with Jesus being the morning star who's going to bring salvation, but in the Old Testament the morning star is the fallen one, and then which they translate to Lucifer.
I mean, can you see Jesus's shadow as, like, the devil, or however you want to frame this? I mean, it is like basically written into the very beginning of the story that man and woman chose to think that they could create anything better than what God had created.
But that's what I'm saying. But the point I'm getting at is if Jesus is also the morning star, and so is Lucifer the morning star, is that not a Gnostic spin on who Jesus actually is? If he's
Lucifer was seen as the falling star. Like, the morning star thing is interesting, but I think there's a lot of differences between, for example, Mithraea and Christ, because Christ is the ever-rising star in the interpretation rather than something bound to a cyclical nature, the way that a lot of pagan deities were involved in terms of their attributes.
But hold on, Gio, you were saying falling star, so where was the falling star written as opposed to the morning star?
I believe it's around Isaiah.
It says Hallel. That's, like I said, that's a later Latin translation from the Catholic Church.
Gio, can we confirm that?
Well, there's something with the older Greek, but Wait, someone
There's
wanted
no
to.
doesn't have. There's no, it's only Hebrew. That's it. Isaiah's in Hebrew, and then it got translated to the Septuagint around 230, 250 BC, around that time, 3rd century BC. It got translated into Greek, and it's still, they did not use the word Lucifer. It says morning star. So Lucifer comes in Latin in around Jerome's time.
We have another comment
Well,
over here from.
I'm just trying to look at.
It's all interpretation, anyways.
I'm essentially just talking about avatar of pure evil, whatever that may be.
But then light bringing, I wouldn't necessarily quantify that as pure evil. What you could say
I
is,
have an interpretation of all. I mean, I don't think it's
it.
unique to me at all, but it's pretty basic, which is there's natural light, the sun, the bearer of all life, and then there's the false light, starting with the fire, also personified as Lucifer, and now in the form of our phones, which is the false light, our screens, everything. These are artificial lights, man-made. You could even say they're knowledge-created lights. And so that all relates to Lucifer, the knowledge from the snake, from the tree of the garden of good and evil, the fire from hell, the false light from our phone. It's just a modern-day version of trying to be God, I think.
So this ultimately...
Yeah, but if you ask a rabbi, if you ask a Jewish rabbi, who's Lucifer, he'll say that's a Roman pagan god, which he's right. Lucifer appears in Ovid's Metamorphosis in 14 BC when that was written, around there, in the time of Augustus. He was a pagan deity, and he just all of a sudden in the 400s, in the Common Era, the Catholic Church decided that they wanted to translate Hallel into Lucifer, and that's not a bad translation. I actually applaud that translation. But if you're from a Jewish perspective, it's a mistranslation. From a Catholic perspective or a Gnostic perspective, it fits perfectly well.
Well,
Yeah.
beyond
Okay, but
beyond what, wait, hold on one second. Hold on one second, everybody. Beyond whatever interpretation there may be, I think the thing to focus on here, which is even more important than what translations there are or what the interpretations are, is more about what choices do we have before us here just as people. So choice number one is to gain knowledge, and with that knowledge to better our world. Choice number two is to just have more or less just have faith and put our faith, well, not just, but like having faith be the primary
No, but Lev,
thing.
you're dealing with different cosmologies. That's the thing. My point being is that Lucifer in the Christian interpretation is always going to be finite. His rule over the earth will always be just a foil for Christ, because that's the whole point. I mean, this isn't a cyclical type of thing the way that Young and others have interpreted it.
No, I understand.
Looking at older pagan traditions.
Gio, I understand that with this version there is going to be a particular actual end of history, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about on-the-ground decisions that people today can make. So the thing that people have very hard feelings about on the more, let's say, religious reactionary end of the internet spectrum is they feel that any kind of meditation, anything that has to do with spending time or doing the Wim Hof method that I do, seeing the third eye, all that fun stuff, that is somehow you assuming this position of being able to take in the knowledge of the cosmos, while really I'm just a puny human being in comparison to everything, and what I should just do is go to church and pray, and that's the only thing that I should do, and otherwise I'm going to make a lot of mistakes, and I'm not going to know what to do with this knowledge that probably, Lucifer gave me, and things are going to get really fucked up. So I know that this is kind of a mouthful, but I really think that is the pet peeve that a lot of people who are on the chat right now have with this interpretation. But I'm curious, Gnostic Informant, what your thoughts are on specifically that, and then others as well.
Sure. First of all, I think it's interesting to point out that right now, as we speak, literally right now, there is an image of Lucifer under the Vatican, down underneath whatever, I don't know, like the crypt or whatever the hell it's called. So now, in their defense, that was there before they converted to Christianity. That was there because the Pontifex Maximus is a title of Pope, which actually goes back to Julius Caesar. So the Roman imperial cult existed before they were Christians. They just converted to Christianity like a person would. But now, with that being said, the reason why I bring that up is because I'm looking at results. I'm looking at, like, you could say faith is what saves somebody, right? And that's fine. But in a way, Christianity with faith-based Christianity is like Neoplatonism and Judaism combined, basically. And what I mean by that is this: Plato talks about the noble lie, if you will. The is sort of the allegory of the cave. Is like, look, we know the truth, but the masses, they don't know what's going on. We need to tell them something to keep them going, to give them motivation for there's something greater out there. We don't know what it is, but we'll just tell them, just have faith, and it's all okay. Well, what happens is we descended into 1,000 years of basically no progression under church rule. And
that's not exactly.
Hold on, Gio, let him finish. Let him finish. Gio,
I mean,
let him finish.
You have the fucking
Gio, please let him finish.
Hold on, Gio. Let me finish this point.
Then you can, Gio. Then you can.
No, it's not.
Then you can go off.
Listen, let me finish.
Yeah.
Okay, I can prove.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can prove this. So, let's go back to 500 BC, 400 BC, right? The time of Democritus and Epicurus, the Stoics. They were already theorizing atomic theory back then, right? All of a sudden, we get in the church era, nothing happens. They stop. It's like a halt. And the church,
Except America.
The church has probably more of a death count than communism, if you add it all up.
No, actually,
now,
no. That's not.
The Enlightenment rolls around, and all of a sudden, we have constitutional republics. We get America. We get France. We get a world that's living again. Just like in the Greek days.
So America, one of the most bloodthirsty empires currently, founded on Freemasonry.
Gio, are you kidding me? Bloodthirsty empires. This is Gio. This bloodthirsty empire, this bloodthirsty empire business is just your third worldness to sickness coming through. That's all that is. Okay,
America was actually strongly based upon Christian values, which allow others to be free to be ridiculous.
Well,
a part of it was, but then there was also an underbelly of Freemasonic.
But is that why Thomas Paine and Thomas Jefferson and all the founding fathers talked about how they despised Christianity? Said Paul is the corrupter of the word, talking about how it's a fable.
There you go.
I'm not saying I agree with them. What I'm saying is they were deists.
Well, there's an interesting thing specifically with.
Yes, they were.
Well, hold on, Gio. Hold on. I want to get
a creator who set things in motion.
I want to get a say in this. I want to get a say in this.
To us, and left it up to us to figure it out, basically.
Now, I don't know. I don't know if that's
a stone's throw away from Enlightenment atheism, right there.
I
mean, this is the
You're
problem.
Not wrong. You're not wrong.
I don't know if that is necessarily the
case. I
case.
think you do this just to press my button.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, the abstractions are not what's holding this world together. It is literally the love that has been the only thing holding this world together from the beginning. The abstractions that we call the fucking system, the devil matrix, like that is the fall itself. That's the whole fucking heel and baby face, you know.
By the way, hold on, Gio, hold on. I have to do shilling. Hold on, this is getting good. I got to do some shilling. So listen, everybody, if you're enjoying this, if you're on Twitter right now, here's what you do. Go to breaktherules.tv. That's the YouTube page. Go there right now. Make sure to subscribe and make sure to share the YouTube link on Twitter as well. Share it to everybody you know. Like it, hit the bell, do all that stuff. And also patreon.com/breaktherules as well. Anyway, Gio, go for it.
No, I think, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of claims there. I've heard about the Lucifer at the Vatican thing and also the connection to Roman paganism. But I just think that a lot of this sort of neo-pagan cope around Christianity and the sort of the ancient world converting over, I mean, again, there's a fundamental disagreement here, I feel, with the interpretation of the very essence of Christianity and its uniqueness among all these other belief systems in terms of the message of Christ, but also his manifestation upon the world. I mean, I don't know. I'm getting too abstract right now. I want to talk about.
Hold on, Glink. I want to get a Glink.
Can I ask a
I just
question?
want to say
One at a time. Hold on. Everybody.
Catholic and a Gnostic.
Hold on. Everybody.
Catholic and a Gnostic in the same room. This is what's going to happen. So I just want to.
No, this is great. I love it.
Obvious.
Hold on. Let's go to one at a time. Let's go to Glink first. So Glink.
We have a super chat now.
Yes. Super chat 5.
ABC was trying to talk. So ABC, please request again, and I will put you.
Yes. Okay. So order right now. Glink, then Maz, then ABC. So Glink, go for it, brother.
So, what Gnostic is saying, I think I tend to agree with in a general sense that religions throughout history have kind of been this copium in a way that have kept people from exploring the concept of God outside of those strict confines, which have been very strict. But now, and not to pick on Geo, because I also agree that Christianity transformed in history as well, amongst other where it's due. But I think going forward, we have to ask the question.
Fair enough.
If dogma is not the approach, which clearly it's not, because that just divides people. This conversation is a slight example of that. But if that's not the approach, then what is? And I would posit the only way you can really convince people is not through telling them what's right or what's true or what to believe or have faith. It's through their own experience and their own maybe guided interpretation. And this is where the original technology comes in.
Well, speaking of technology... Oh, hold on. I'm going to open the app again. Everything is fine. Don't worry about it. Don't you even worry.
Somebody needs to tell Elon Musk that he should focus on... his whole thing was, AI is going to happen. It's inevitable. I tried to stop it. Transhumanism is going to happen, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, cool. But can we make it not incredibly lame and horrifying? Like technology, like it doesn't have to be, because that's what I keep coming back to, is just ultimate optimism and love. It's like, okay, well, they're building, a gigantic death machine. Why don't we just circumvent that and do something that's... Jack, are you all right? Do something that's cool,
No, I agree.
Why don't we just do something cool?
But the big problem, I think, is that I think
I agree with that.
I'm muted.
Like,
Hold
it doesn't
on.
have to be
There we go.
like iRobot or whatever. It doesn't have to be like
Well,
that. It doesn't have to be that way.
One big problem that I foresee is that since people are independent away from any religious structure at all, even if I don't necessarily believe in the tenets of Christianity or Islam or Judaism or whatever, it does seem like when people are given just absolute free range, there are definitely going to be people out there who are like artists, who are like very, people who are very interesting in what they're able to bring to the table when they put their imagination, into certain things. But then there are other people who are just roaming sheep. I'm sorry to say that.
Well,
but
this is where love comes in, right? Because I think if people can connect, I know this sounds corny, but if they can connect through love, there's a sort of universality to that, which no matter where people are coming from, if they can connect to that same source, then I think there can be harmony, right?
And that's why Mark Zuckerberg is trying to build the metaverse right now. That's why all these fucking supervillains exist, because what they want is love, but they're waging war against it. And that's why they're never going to be satisfied, and they're never going to win, ultimately. They could have their 1,000 years of fucking darkness, and love just lives in the wind, and one of their children will become the chosen one, and fuck it.
Can I, that's a good movie idea. Good movie idea. And I want to ask, this is like a very stupid question, but I think it'll be funny. What do you guys think about that Netflix interpretation of Lucifer? Was its quasi use of scripture and such? What do you guys think about that?
Which Netflix one?
Yeah, no, I mean like the show called Lucifer. You know that one with the British dude?
That wasn't the Hannah. No, yeah, I haven't heard about that one.
It reminds me of Supernatural. The show Supernatural.
Yeah, there you go.
Where they humanize the devil, and then he's like, well, what do you expect, man? I was put in this position. Really what it is that God's a dick because he's responsible for everything. And then it kind of resolves in a weird way where you could still say at the very end of the show that even though they, fight God, that God set the whole thing up from the beginning. So it's like you can never escape that kind of logic.
Yeah, right.
Well, we have a good comment here in the chat from Arete kid, Gnostics don't seem to realize transhumanism and digital utopianism descended from Gnosticism. I think there's an argument.
He's right.
There's an argument to be made because, of course, like a lot of the New Age thought permeated into Silicon Valley, and you have a lot of New Age beliefs are basically built upon different mystery schools from the 19th century that were itself built upon, Blavatsky and interpretations of theosophy and Gnosticism. But yes, go ahead, Gnostic. What's your take on the Silicon Valley dude bros trying to create the metaverse, live in a pod, eat the bugs, take the Neuralink future? What do you?
I actually think that it's a part of evolution. That it's inevitable. I think it's going to happen. I'm not.
Oh no!
I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm not saying I like it. But I think it's
the
part
most
of
advanced scope I've ever seen. Yeah,
Hey,
stop.
look, if you want to look at how Revelation talks about it, you can make the case that they prophesized this.
Now it's obvious the role of faith, isn't it? It's because even in the face of the inevitable, you have to have faith that that there can be a better way, right? So that's what the religions got right, is that by focusing on faith, they at least had a hope for the future.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah,
I'll say this about faith.
Fails you'll fucking learn about it.
I'll say this about faith, though, is that there's a verse, I think it's in Corinthians, where it says, "Oh death, where is thy sting?" Right? What it's saying is, somebody who truly does have faith, and whatever it doesn't have to be Christianity, it could be anything. They will go to their deathbed without any fear because they know that they're going somewhere after that. That's what faith. That's how faith is supposed to operate.
There is an example I can bring up in this book that I read called Daimonic Reality by Patrick Harper, where he was talking about how, I believe this was Our Lady of Fatima and other Mary not statue, but like Mary sightings, where there used to be these springs where people used to see these goddesses. And these were considered to be just the specific goddesses of the people who lived there before they even knew what Christianity was. And then eventually, when they were Christianized, they still saw those same beautiful ladies there in the springs, but they interpreted them as being Mary. And from what I read in the book, at first, they didn't give the signal back that they were Mary. That was kind of just interpreted. But eventually, they were, going into that specific role as Mary. And that reminded me of certain things that people talked about when they almost passed on. So they didn't die, but they were in surgery, and they went into the state where they saw their relatives, and they also saw, if they were Buddhist, they saw nothingness, or they saw Buddha. I don't know. I don't remember exactly how it went. If they were Christian, they would see Jesus. So it's interesting to me to think about whether a lot of the things that people prescribe to are the best ways of organizing, or were the best ways of organizing, just for the sake of being able to latch on to this idea of love, this idea of treat others around you as you would want to be treated yourself. And all these other things are more skins that are then worn to get this information out there. I don't know. That's one other idea thing about this whole thing. And it doesn't take away from the power.
I think that's called imago, an image. The imago. So like you could see Buddha or Christ or whatever, but that was my whole point about any symbol or image that we can identify not being transcendent enough. And so like you see with your heart at the end of the day. And that's really the land of the blind, all that.
Well, there's a good comment here about how Jarrell, Jesus is not in essence an abstraction, mind, substance, a person, living person. This is the essence of Christianity and all religions. You live and die for your Lord, not for abstractions. I think I wanted to challenge this sort of conception we have of love. I think that the sort of modern version of what we think is
Gio, louder,
heroes.
Louder, please.
The sort of modern.
Oh boy.
Sorry, it's because my headphones make me talk quiet. So the modern depiction of Eros, for instance, I think is missing the mark when we talk about the love of God towards creation. I think that when we talk about love as the universal substance, we have a very sort of sentimentalist, 19th century romanticism attached to it. We don't see that love requires great esteem and sacrifice in life in order to truly grasp the veracity of what it means to go to one's death, having lived a fulfilled life and going back into the arms of our Lord. That love requires immense amounts of self-effacement in some ways in order to truly grasp it. And I think that when people talk about love and all we need is love, I think that the word love or eros has been fundamentally corrupted nowadays.
But that's just
can't really.
But Gio, that doesn't change. That doesn't change what exactly the love you're talking about would be the end goal, not the love that they may think it is. Because, like I heard from a lot of, for example, Kabbalists talking about the idea of love, where when people love. Just in general, I even experienced this in a dream that I had where I met a rabbi. So love, the kind of love that we have towards our friends, our family members, our loved ones, that there is still an attribute of getting something out of it. When you, Gio, when you love your father or your mother, you get a certain satisfaction inside from knowing that you are bestowing this feeling to them. So there's still a little bit of receiving that you're doing. And I guess the idea, according to Kabbalists in this sense, of what love is that it's just giving for the sake of giving without any element of receiving at all. So you become a pure giving being. And I see that being something that could be represented by the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, for instance. But at the same time, if I look at other, and I know this may be a cringe argument for some, I don't care, I don't give a fuck anymore. When I look at all the galaxies out there and all the galaxy clusters and all these things, I don't think they're for decoration. I definitely think that there are other things that are going on there. So either there's like a Jesus for every single planet where there is life like life we're living, or we're the only ones and all those planets are for decorations, or there would be other things that would be experienced during this, I don't know where Gio went, other things that would be experienced on those planets that would be similar.
I just gotta step out for a minute.
Sure, no problem.
All right, so my thing that I have here is that my romantic love that I had in my life, I see it as literally a gift from God. And so like I did definitely, I'll be honest about my mistakes, I kind of pedestalized her for a minute, and then I stopped doing that. So like that was an interesting lesson because I was aiming at the wrong thing ultimately, and I found that out. So I actually see like this spiritual love as a much bigger thing than simply romantic love or any of that. I actually think that love permeates reality, including like the darkest corners, and that's why I say keep looking for the good. I actually see. I don't know how to explain this. I kind of see everything as like a kind of blindness that was given to us by the fall. You know, it's like we're already in paradise, and like there are brief moments when we recognize it. And if you actually do self-sacrifice, basically I see everyone as entirely selfish, and that being the case, because you are a self. That's my take on it. You are a self, so all you could ever be is entirely selfish. So anybody who self-sacrifices themselves for somebody else, or is altruistic, is actually entirely selfish. But there's like a mature and like an immature form of love. There's like service to self, and then there's when you realize that others are a great source of satisfaction and love for yourself, so it like generally benefits you to do good for others, and you will end up far more satisfied selfishly. And
how can you say you know God if you believe everything is self-serving?
God itself more than that.
Can I ask a question?
Go for it.
One of the interesting things about humanity's fall in our earliest moments is God still loves us afterwards, And my question was, it's always been, did he know we were always going to take the metaphorical bait of the apple? Did he always know humanity was going to have to learn a lot before?
If he didn't know that, then he wouldn't be omnipotent.
I think it's something to do, It's very entertaining and dramatic.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay. No, you're right. That's my point.
I would say
he must have known you were gonna fuck up at some point,
Yes. Well,
Well, also think about all the tribal societies out there, which I see as being. Oh, go for it. All right. Think of all.
No, you go. I don't even think I had anything to say.
No, I think it would have been interesting, but fine. So
I got a quote for you.
All right, shoot.
So Epicurus, the same person I was talking about, who theorized atomic theory in like 400 BC. He's a quote about omnipotent, sovereign, monotheistic God. He said, "Is God willing to prevent evil but not able? Then he is not omnipotent. If he is able but not willing, then he is malevolent. Is he both able and willing? Then whence cometh evil? Is he neither able nor willing? Then why call him God?"
Right.
Do you understand what he's saying there?
Yeah.
Why?
Of course.
I take issue with personifying God. God is not one person deciding things. It's this higher order of things that we cannot possibly comprehend as tiny ants on the anthill can't comprehend a park in a city, in a country, in a planet, you know?
And that doesn't mean that there aren't going to be aspects of that do have a personal relationship with us, but it may be within, I don't know if emanations is the right word here, but there is another interesting thing going back to the idea of Lucifer. Rudolf Steiner wrote a book about Lucifer called Lucifer and Ahriman and the reincarnation of Ahriman, where he talked about Ahriman as being this very solidifying force, something to be very spiritually absent, something very solid, just like a very materialistic mindset type of world. And Lucifer he saw as being this very free-willing, wrapped up in your fantasies type of being. And he equated that to the state of just being in this constant state of imaginative ecstasy. So just constantly being inside your own head.
Right.
And I think a big issue... hold on a second. I think a big issue that a lot of the people in the chat who are more followers of Geo in terms of the more Christian ones in the chat, I think the big issue they have with a lot of the things that Gnostic Informant, for example, you're bringing up, I really think it comes down to the idea of what they see as based. And when they say based, I interpret that, well, one of the interpretations is it's a grounding that they feel is terribly lacking in society today, where I think they're looking at the past with rose-colored glasses, but still, they look at the past and they see people who seem to exemplify things that they don't see in today's society. And one of the things they attribute to that is the fact that they are, according to them, that they are based.
And my question to them is, from the year 400 BC or 400 AD to about 1500 AD, if you said that you weren't Catholic, even if you were another type of Christian, even if you said I'm a Protestant, they would chop your head off. You had to be a Catholic in Europe in
the Catholics would say that's based. And
right.
But I'm going to get to why I think that is. I think that because people see so much political correctness today, they go on completely the opposite way, and they see somebody who has some kind of semblance of guts, something that, even if it's bad, even if it's something that, let's say, would not only be offensive, but would be a crime against humanity, or would be something that, sometimes they would still call it based if it's, on their religion, just because it's like having somebody who says, I'm not going to take this anymore, and he confronts the naked emperor, and he just punches the naked emperor in the face, while all the people around were complimenting on the clothes of the naked emperor. So that's my interpretation of it. I hope I'm saying this correctly here.
That?
Go for it.
I think you're right. I think the reason why there's so much edginess in any sort of community that's sort of anti-establishment is because people are blocked for saying the stupidest shit, Like, retard is now a slur. Like, what? Like, what? What is that even? Why?
Is that worse than getting your head cut off or saying I'm a pagan?
Again, it's all a matter of degrees. Obviously, it's not, but the point is that this is the energy that people are grabbing towards when they see examples of people who were, acting more manly, let's say, acting like they were able to take a bad situation and make that situation better just using their own force of will. that is something that could be inspiring to people, even if it's bad. Like, even if it's like, for example, they would look at the Bronze Age, they would see all the people who were swashbuckling back then, and sure, upon analysis, we could say that, these people committed horrible, horrible acts towards other living beings. But if you take a step back and you say, how much guts did it take to actually do something like that, and how much of that energy, which could be redirected towards something positive, is missing today from society? According to them, it is missing. I don't think it's missing if you know where to look. But I think that's a very big issue that they have, where people have become, let's say like this, I think the best way to say it is people, as they see it, have become too willing to let other people speak over them, talk over them, and feel as if they're empowered enough because they're protected by the political situation, they're protected by the government, they're protected by what is considered to be polite, to walk all over those who are not and humiliate them. And they feel like there is nothing that they could do or say. And that is going to be a big issue.
I want to add on to what you're saying, because I think I could sort of join where both of you guys are coming from. What you just described is when it's the basic concept of, if you believe in a God, if you believe in this higher power and you truly worship it, you truly have faith in it, then you are based in something above humans, above the material, above this physical realm. But if you are, as science has led many people to think that it's a belief system, which it's not, that everything is just material, everything is just, the study of what is, and there is no, without evidence or proof, there is no basis for anything, then you're subject to, just like you said, having people with certain political persuasions or power speak for you or speak over you, and people get lulled into this sense of conformity with all the comforts of the modern world to not pushing against the grain. But I think the Gnostic approach is even more radical, but more based. In other words, it is based on a higher. And I don't even know if I understand Gnosticism that well, but I think the idea is something more like not such a regimented, structured, corruptible structure of religion that we've had. And I agree that it's been stagnant, and I think that's why the ideas of enlightenment have ultimately won out. But if there could be some sort of, I don't even know if it would be a belief system, or again, I just go to the technology directly because that is responsible for experience. But if there's some sort of path that joins the belief in a higher existential purpose, let's say, along with some degree of freedom or some degree of creativity that isn't so strict and regimented, I feel like that would be a good in between.
Well, that's what I was talking about with love, and why I was dogging on Rollo Tomasi, because making everything strict and lifeless, it turns out your emotional valence systems in your brain, like Nietzsche was going on and on about this creating your own values thing. But it turns out that nihilism actually makes you feel bad. It doesn't make you feel nothing. So does postmodernism and all this other stuff. It actually makes you feel bad, and that seems to be a good indicator of coherent, actual, objective reality, that you're getting something horribly wrong and your body innately knows it and your spirit knows it.
But then think of the people who I was talking about in this case, who innately feel like they don't have a sense of dignity today, and it doesn't mean that they should go and, be assholes to other people. But in general, especially in a place like New York, for example, there is a very much a lack of what is or isn't allowed to talk about in certain circles. And I think this is the frustration that a lot of the very online, 4chan people are feeling. Unfortunately, they redirect this energy towards blaming people who should not be blamed, who have absolutely nothing to do with this. And when it comes to how we manage this whole thing, I think it should be from conversations like this to start, from being able to understand each other, at least people who are willing to hear other people out, so that certain gaps of knowledge can be filled in. But Gnostic Informant, I'm curious what you make of this thing that I'm talking about here regarding baseness regarding this not wanting to be humiliated?
I think every concern that you just mentioned is 100% valid. And I think there is definitely an issue with groupthink mentality, the mob rules mentality that's happening right now. And it's happening in education systems, it's happening in social media, it's happening, it's people being pressured to vote and stuff like this. It all ties in. And it's ironic though, because the reason why I say it's ironic is because the constitutional republic mentality of freedom of speech and freedom of expression, that was a liberal movement. And all of a sudden now it's turning into this thing where people on the right are grabbing at that. And you're seeing people with, people Catholics and Christians this is their baby now. So it's ironic that the tides have turned. All of a sudden the liberals are becoming the autocrats and the monarchs, if you will. It's ironic.
Although in certain circles of the internet, that's not the case. Certain circles of the internet, they would blame liberalism. They would say liberalism is the thing that got us into this mess. I disagree.
No.
I think that this...
Yeah, once again, these are abstractions. And what's happening is that they have unlimited ammunition, because the nature of our reality is such that no matter what you do, somebody always gets hurt. And so, like, if I simply exist or I do anything at all, there's at least one Karen out there who is emotionally wounded, or literally just I have to eat food to survive. Like, things die. And so somebody is always going to get hurt, and therefore there's always a victim, and they have unlimited ammunition to leverage people with, because really they just don't have a deep sense of satisfaction. And I do. And there's a song by Eden called Babel. And it starts out with like a clip where the dude says, our deepest fear is not that we are weak. It is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that scares us the most. And to get back into neuroscience, it actually turns out that your fear is at least partially a signal telling your conscious mind that something that you love and want to protect, maybe yourself or some other thing, some other person potentially.
Interesting. Hold on. I'm going to have to restart this thing right up here. It happens sometimes, so just bear with me. This is a great conversation that's happening. I don't know where this went. This is a little bit strange because I had the thing right. Oh, here we go. Okay. Join space. Here we go. What is going on here? All right, guys. While this is happening right now, hopefully they're not going to leave while I reconfigure this thing. Don't forget to subscribe to BreakTheRules.tv. All that good stuff. So here I'm going back into the space, reconnect to space. There we go.
And I wanted to also mention that one of the interesting things about at least these sort of ideas that there is in a objective reality, which there is. I think you can't look at stuff without it being that way, or else it's all, let's just let that person do that, and then let's let other person do that when it's objectively wrong. Like, murder is objectively wrong. Rape, objectively wrong.
Yeah.
There are multiple different columns that are wrong, and there are multiple columns that are right,
I have a moral conundrum that
Philosophy 101.
So let's say,
it's like,
let's just say there's a dude who's about to push the nuclear button, and you can shoot him to save the entire world. What about that? Yeah, it's a theoretical scenario. Let's say you have a gun and there's a dude
let me
to kill everyone.
Okay. How many of you guys actually lived in the Bible Belt? How many of you actually live in Bible Belt, or even like Oklahoma or Texas or anything like that?
Nope.
How many of you? Are you all West Coast, East Coast? So none of you have actually experienced this right-wing religious aspects firsthand.
I live quote unquote right
Because
wing.
what I think is interesting is you all are trying to bring in modern day philosophy to old world religions, and to that in itself, you're in a losing fight.
Can you elaborate?
Do you get what I'm saying?
But here's the thing. The thing is, all the old religions you can't just throw out completely, because they come from some sort of true source. That's
the true source is always manipulation and control.
In the words
it
of
has always been manipulation, control. It has told you how to live your morals. It's told you how to live your
that's
lives.
not true.
Based. That's the correct way. I mean, look at society now without them.
Dude, I can't see it. I can't see a society.
But you can, yeah. But Gio, I mentioned this when you were gone. We go back to the time where the Catholic Church had all power. They would chop your head off. They would chop your head off for saying I'm a pagan.
That beheading thing is very misleading. How do you think Christianity?
Yeah, but how do you? That's not misleading.
Yeah, that's kind of not the truth of what actually.
There was no freedom of speech when the church ruled the West.
There's no freedom of speech now.
Wait, hold on, everybody, hold on.
The whole thing about Jesus
I'm not saying you're wrong.
No, put me back on screen, bro.
Hold on, everybody. I muted everybody because I have the power to do that. I have the nuclear option to do that. So here's what I want to say before we keep going. Okay. Number one, everybody's going to take their turn to speak, even though I really love when this happens. It's a lot of fun. It's like popcorn moments. I want to address one thing, though. First, my question to, I don't know who your name, there's just like a mask over here. I'm not sure who you are. I am curious, though, who was the person who recommended you? And I just want to say thank you to that person because we need somebody like you to counter.
Well, he's been waiting a long time. That's why I let him in.
There we go. Okay.
There you go.
That's why you let him in? I thought you knew him. This is our agreement. You have to know
No, I don't.
You gotta know people. Okay, whatever. I don't care anymore. Here's the thing. Okay, so the mask guy.
Put my face back on screen,
hold on,
so
Gio.
people know who's boss.
hold on, Gio. I'm gonna do that, but hold on. First to the mask guy, and then I'm gonna put your face in to the mask guy. I have this question. While I am probably one of the most liberal people in a lot of these conversations, what I do find though is that when you go back in time, when you have a society where everybody's killing everybody, you're not going to have that many choices between who you're going to, align with or what you're going to align with as far as what system is going to keep all this shit together. So I hope that we can reach a certain understanding of maybe back then certain things had to be the way they were, and what is a good balance today to make sure things don't go chaotic on the other side. Because again, like, you have situations, like I said before, where people feel like they don't have that much power to speak out or criticize things that are not allowed to be criticized, and that goes all the way to, you getting fired for saying the wrong thing at your workplace, on the internet, and yada, yada, yada. So you get the idea. Like, there is a lot of chaotic things that are happening on that side, and people feel like there has to be a certain amount of order. Look at the crime in New York City, for example. It's going through the roof, and people feel like there has to be a certain semblance of order. And it's all about how do we balance this out. Obviously, we don't want to do what they did back then, but can you at least make some room for seeing people yearning for a little bit more order than is currently in a place like New York City, for example. So I'm going to unmute everybody, and Mask Guy, you start first.
Okay, awesome. Just to kind of reiterate, make sure I'm understanding correctly, you're just wondering how we can bring, like, how religion can be used as an aspect of moral.
I would say not even religion as much as culture that would have a certain idea of order that people can agree upon, where if somebody's shitting on the street, which they're allowing New York City to do, that could be taken care of.
We made those religions because of that, right? And so, like, those will always be ingrained into our societies, whether it was originally meant to be a religious aspect, or a dude who was like, I see so much shit going on, I just want to write a book about it, right? So when you come down and you bring it back to like 2021, and like we have laws and we have people who uphold those laws, and we have things that play aspect into that have used the morals of Christianity, I still don't feel it has a place for I don't know. You
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You asked, has anybody here lived in the Bible Belt?
Yeah.
And you asked that because I'm guessing your experiences growing up have been around a lot of very strict, very maybe cruel or like just unjust religious practices imposed upon people.
Because that's what bothers me, is that like they don't care about these conversations. They don't care about whether or not the moral basis of 2021 is going to align with what we did back then. Religion has become an empty subject in every aspect in the Western world. It is nothing but a manipulation tool, but like trying to find a better way to spread it.
Okay, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. Have you had a religious experience?
I'm a very religious person. I would say I'm Christian. I believe in, like, you know, all the acts of the good and the righteous are beset on all sides by good men, type thing. But like, I've never really committed to like church and stuff like that due to the corruptness of the entire thing.
So then, where do you stand? Because it seems like on one hand you see all the corruption, and rightfully so, that comes with religion, but or organized religion at least. But
he doesn't want to go to the gym because there's fat people there.
Oh God, dude!
There's fat people at the gym.
Gym is God's place.
So, I wanted to get some new speakers. So we have Chelsea, who was on the last time, but also we have
Chelsea
Quay,
lately,
who is Chelsea, who is a writer for the Spectator. So I felt that whoever wants to speak first,
nice.
And maybe we'll let in Crocodile after.
You should ask her about the relationship stuff.
Yeah, I wanted to actually get back into that, but Chelsea, whatever you have to say, and also I will let in Crocodile, or if Quay wants to say anything as well. I just wanted to get new speakers in here.
I'll let
Chelsea,
those two go
ahead.
first, and then I'll jump in if I think of something.
Oh, sure. So Chelsea, do you have anything to say of this conversation?
No, thank you. I did. This is really interesting. I wanted to go back. I feel like what the latest speaker with the mask was saying brought me back to what you were talking about earlier with Gnosticism, which the crux of Gnosticism is the belief that the body and the soul are separate or can be separated, or maybe the modern person would say the body and the mind. But psychologically, we always think in our minds that we're better than we are. We always justify our reasonings to ourselves. And it's a big temptation to believe that you can be one person inside and a different person physically, right? So Gnosticism inevitably leads to corruption of the material world, because the Gnostics believe that they can achieve something better, whether that's, cyberpunk or the internet or a spiritual world or cults or whatever. It leads to a neglect and a degradation of the physical world, which you can see in art and culture and health.
That's
if you don't have
based. Thank God I have.
No, but this is kind of at least from my perspective, this is
kind of right.
No, you didn't let me finish.
Okay, finish.
Go ahead, Chelsea. Go ahead.
The point is, if you do not have an explicit moral compass, whether that's your Protestant or Catholic religion or your different religions that are focused on something good, some religions like some South American religions worship demons, but you have a religion that worships something good, some version of a good God, then you can have a grounding that will stop you from sliding down that path. But if you don't, if you pretend like you're going to end up with Gnosticism.
Like, why do we need religion to have morals? I feel like men are born with morals. Like people.
Because look at the communist countries and tell me the results of a big atheist regime.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this whole Rousseauian thing of like people being in their pure state would always just make the right decisions all the time. There needs to be some framework for people to understand how to treat each other in the beginning. I don't know if religion is the only way to do it or whatever we would call religion, but
there's people like us though that understand that empathy though. That's what I'm saying. Is that,
but you're boiling this down again to the utilitarian metric of Jordan Peterson or whoever, like the intellectual dork web people, where it's it's useful for society.
All these kind of
it comes back to love over and over and over again.
Oh, one at a time.
So let's get Crocodile and then we'll have Quay.
Yes.
Can I answer that real quick though?
Go for it.
All right, yeah, answer it real quick.
I just wanted to mention, men are not born with good morals. Men are not born with good morals, and I would like to point out to the early civilizations of the Assyrians and the Babylonians and all those sort of early civilizations. Do you know what they did to their enemies? They would butcher them. They would literally genocide people they just did not like. They would cut off the hands and feet and heads.
People are born with empathy,
people
bro.
for fun.
Children literally do nice things to others just because they they
dude,
have that
children
that
can be
feels
fucking
good. I don't
awful.
believe that's learned behavior.
Have you seen South Park?
Evil
Children
parents
could be
in a
very
great
awful.
child.
Yeah, but look,
Have you
eventually
seen a
those
child
children.
without a parent?
Hold on, but eventually those children
Hi, how
grow
you
up.
doing? I'm a child without a parent. It's nice to meet you.
Eventually, those
Crazy,
children end
Have
up
you seen
growing up, and they have to live.
the studies of wild children who are raised by dogs? They do not have empathy. They are not. You have to be raised by people with empathy to gain it.
Animals have empathy, bro. Animals take care of their own. That still doesn't make any sense.
You guys, the obvious answer is that
You
people
don't-
have the potential for good and evil. But I think
Correct.
deeper than that,
Sure.
everyone also has the universality of it, where the hope comes in, I think, is that whether they are good or evil, everyone has the potential because they're connected to God, or they're all an expression of God, and that's what consciousness is. That's what
I believe people are born in neutrality is what people are born into. They're born in neutrality, which is why when you're born you have to get baptized.
Well,
so you can get rid of.
I mean, unless you believe in.
That's a religious thing, bro.
Well, there is original sin.
Well, okay.
Dunking a child in water.
Unless you believe in reincarnation.
The Ten Commandments are interesting. So basically, it's that
eventually-
nobody can successfully follow the Ten Commandments, and that's kind of the.
It is what it is. With people that have bad parents are more in the behavioral to do bad.
Dude, I think that's a stigma because I mean, again, look at me.
Oh,
though.
come on.
Like I grew up pretty poor, like waiting outside of mall food courts.
It's not
for food.
poor.
Hold on, let him finish.
No,
Let him
you don't
finish.
understand.
It's about bad
dirty is dirty, bro. Dirty is dirty, and poor is poor. It doesn't matter who you are or what you come from, right?
It's
So, like, you
not
live in
because
that
rich
kind of-
people can have bad parents.
Yeah, and
It's not-
Ethiopians are incredibly fucking happy for things
But
like
you're saying that empathy and morals are learned behavior when I believe that it's engraved in our DNA to take care of the ones we love and who we care about.
What's the difference? I mean, that's like the actual impulse that actually leads to these religions, though, isn't it? That kind of innate need for some kind of moral framework. That is what this belief in God is. Like, what is the difference between what is good and God? Because
all he did was write it down, though. That's what I'm saying. It's a book from 2,000 years ago. All he did was write down what he felt was right in his heart.
That's the
it wasn't
fundamental
that
thing,
this all-knowing.
What God says is right is right.
That's the entire concept of logos.
What do you mean by that? Go on.
Well, so like the idea is that you say that somebody just wrote that down, but that is the idea that the word is God. That's what this entire idea that this moral framework written down, that is how it is to be like one with God, and it's.
But those morals were there before God. Those things were there before God.
That's what
nothing was anywhere before God.
No.
But it is the
You're telling
case
me
that if you do a
you're
lot
telling
of
me that an older brother watching his little 4-year-old sister get raped and whatever.
Wait, be careful. We're on YouTube.
nothing
We're on
about
YouTube. We're on YouTube,
Oh,
so
my
we
bad,
gotta
my bad,
avoid
bro.
the.
We're on Twitter. On
Hey,
it.
I
just want to point
say
out
one more thing because I'm about to leave. Oh, you're going to leave too?
You see what I'm saying, though? Like
I want to.
those morals.
I want
to
join
before that.
You guys,
Maybe a
they're the
sentiment
same
was there.
thing. Hey, guys, they're the same thing. Everyone has a connection to God. Everyone has an inherent ability to be moral, to be loving, to be all these things. They're the same exact thing. One does not precede the other. They're both the same thing.
But the question
you're
is.
attributing it something to like an
All right,
omniscient
hold on. The
presence
question
that may
is.
not exist.
The question is, how do
It
we
does
organize?
exist.
Hold on. I'm using my powers again. Okay. The question for me is, how do we organize society? I mean, we could say religion because this is based on religion, this particular conversation, but still, how do we organize society so that these kids that you're talking about, maybe they're more pure of heart or whatever when they're younger, but still, they end up growing up into adults, and they're going to be surrounded by other adults. So what would be the program here? What would be the program to enable them to understand? And I'm not talking about individuals. I'm talking about, Gio, I hear you're typing. I'm talking about in a mass scale.
Oh, shit.
No problem. I'm talking about in a mass scale here as far as, communities go. How do we make sure that these communities are organized in such a way that people are not going to go down this stripy hole and just do all kinds of horrible things to each other that end up growing up to be like that. So I'm going to unmute. Whoever wants to take that, take it.
Yeah, I'm. I'd like to jump in at this point if you guys don't mind.
Go for
Yeah,
it.
say quick. Go ahead, my friend. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Well, I think that this is kind of introducing a little kind of side stream of this, but I think it'll be useful to kind of throw these ideas in, is, St. Augustine says that communities are organized around what they love. And I think you can see that, I actually wrote a piece about this a while ago, in the history of what we consider to be curse words. So you can kind of lump it into three categories, where there's kind of a religious period, a proprietary period, and then you could say like a compassionate period. Where if you go back, to the Code of Hammurabi, there's like some of the laws in there are death penalties for uttering certain kinds of curses against people, because it's not a curse word like we say, it's literally a curse. Like you're speaking words that
Curse
you think
ye
will
ha
cause their crops to die or something, right?
Yeah.
So cursing's so from like then until roughly the Renaissance period, cursing is religious, right? In Shakespeare you have Zounds, which is God's wounds, or Mary, which is the Virgin Mary. Then you get kind of the Victorian period, where it's all about propriety, right? So curse words there, and this is the period we're just now coming out of. The curse words there are, I won't say them all because for the sake of the stream, but they're all terms related to body parts or bodily functions that were considered unmentionable at that time, because it was all about kind of propriety and respectability. And we're transitioning out of that right now. Like it's happened in our lifetime, and it's kind of a cool thing to be around for. Where if you remember in the 2020 election primary, Beto O'Rourke said the F word on the campaign trail during a speech, publicly, and nobody cared. It wasn't like the end of his campaign like it would have been in the 1970s or 80s. Like that would have been it for him if he'd said that in the 70s or 80s publicly. But nobody cared. But think about if he'd said the N word, right? That'd be the ball game.
Jonathan Peugeot had a good point about this recently.
That would have been hilarious if he did that, though.
Wait, hold on, let him finish. Let him finish. Go
yeah,
for
so we've transitioned into this period where we've gone from God being sacred to kind of propriety, and sexual morality specifically being sacred, to this period of kind of the marginalized being sacred. And you can actually draw a line, I think, from Christianity. These are all outgrowths of Christian ideas, in my opinion. A lot of that's in Rene Girard, that the idea of the sacred marginalized or the sacred victim comes from Christianity. So I think in some sense, when you're arguing how much, of our problem is that we've gotten away from Christianity, Christianity fix, at some point, I think it's on some level, you're like a fish trying to have a debate about water, because I think so much of the way we think and the way our culture is built is based on outgrowths, or in some cases corruptions, of Christian ideas. So yeah, that was just kind of the point I wanted to introduce and that I wanted to make, is that
Lev, you said community, right? A sense of community through religion.
Yeah, it's built around what we love, and I think now we've come to love the idea of the marginalized. So everyone wants to claim the idea of the marginalized. Along with that comes this idea of total self-definition, right? That existence precedes essence for humanity. So the project of your life is self-creation, and anything that inhibits that is bad.
Yes.
And I think that's where we are. And that is a corruption of a Christian idea, I think. But I think that's where we are. And if all you love is the ideal of self-creation, you're not going to have a community, because if the community is based on the love of the self, that's a contradiction in terms.
Well, this is what Heidegger said with the community of mortals. I mean...
Here's my complete rebuttal to this. Here's my utter rebuttal to this.
Wait,
let me just say that.
Wait, but also I think the masked gentleman also had a response to that first. So to Mr. Quay. So masked gentleman, would there be any?
He literally his second part was exactly what I was going to say. It's all good.
All right.
All right. So here's my thing, right? So just in terms of actual psychology, what you are experiencing is a simulation generated inside of your mind, and you're not directly perceiving reality. And you might argue panpsychism, but if you just look at other people, we can touch back on that. It doesn't matter. But if you look at other people, you can see cognitive dissonance when they are not coherent and in line with reality, and their predictions about reality do not come true. So that's a phenomena that I observe. So the thing I'm kind of getting at with this is that the idea that you can completely define yourself and
hold on. King Salmon apparently went downstream for here. So.
Whoa. Anyways, I wanted to say that to Quay. Wait, Crocodile, let me just hold off for a minute. That was a brilliant point. I agree 100%. Well, up until the end, I think that the corruption of Christianity is an important point of contention but what you were saying about the Jardian sacred victim, but also the changing of language and how sort of we're seeing this discursive turn along with the societies of control, whereas I would argue this cult of victimization is a much more effective means of policing discourse than anything else. So that was a brilliant point. Yeah. That was a brilliant point, Quay. You have to come on BTR
Definitely.
proper.
Yes.
Lev.
Follow Quay at Hemming
Can
Quay.
I make a quick suggestion?
I'd love that.
About the
Excellent.
meta of this. I don't know if this is something you guys are interested in, but I've seen Twitter Spaces that apparently they're like kind of trying to talk about serious topics or whatever. I mean, usually it's some woke shit, but they get like thousands of listeners from just people accessing the Twitter Space. I wonder if you guys could try marketing this with a different title, a different thing. If you guys could end up getting like thousands of listeners eventually.
Well, unfortunately, we risk getting banned if that happens. But if it gets too spicy, maybe if we have a title.
Turkey Tom comes in. Well, no, I mean, look, as long as they subscribe to YouTube, patreon.com/breaktherules, become a patron
I love you,
today.
Julie.
Who's listening to this right now, and YouTube.com. Okay, YouTube, it's breaktherules.tv. That's where you go, breaktherules.tv. That's going to bring you right into the YouTube channel. And I also have the link over here above in this conversation. I mean, people have been posting so many things here, but I hope you can see the link over here. It still says Tishrei because of the cache. But it's not Tishrei. I've changed the stream. Hopefully we're going to be able to have Tishrei on later on. But I think that we may be wrapping it up pretty soon because I want to... never mind. Listen. Final thoughts.
I just want to answer your Lev, I want to answer your question. You asked, like, what exactly can we do?
Yes.
I think America is actually a very, very good example. So the way that I see the freedom of America is that we have like really, really solid contingency military things that are like keeping everyone alive. And pretty much that allows every single other person, which is the vast majority, to just like fuck around all day to incredible extremes. So that's a pretty good basis to begin with. And then secondly, I think we should focus on love and just have, loving individuals like special ops and stuff like that to handle any fuckery that threatens the world.
The
United
States Department of Love.
Straight up. And energy.
That sounds terrifying.
What does love mean in this situation, though? Because right now,
it means the government fucking your ass. Sorry.
Ministry.
Exactly. I mean, right now, all the horrible stuff that's going on is in this kind of antichrist mode where it's all based on love and quote unquote empathy.
Empathy is the biggest one, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that word has been so fucking corrupted. It's like that is the antichrist catchphrase. And so this idea of self-actualization, actually, that is the kind of endpoint of this kind of Gnostic idea, I think, where everybody's atomizing so much, where everybody is their own demiurge, where you're creating your own
and that's
corrupted version of yourself. And that's kind
that was my whole point that got cut off, which is that your internal simulation can be reprogrammed to a certain extent, but there is an objective reality which constitutes both your internal simulation and the objective external world, and that's why you can see cognitive dissonance and coherence, people running into brick walls. So like the entire thing of creating a matrix of lies causing cognitive dissonance on a mass scale, like I've already sorted this out.
Right. I wanted to totally agree. Yeah, I wanted to get before we go, Mitch has been waiting patiently. Also,
Mitch McConnell. Are we on? Have the Mitch
I am
McConnell,
from the Midwest, but not Kentucky.
Turtle Man.
But,
Cocaine Mitch. Go ahead, my friend.
But no, on the topic of morality, I feel like a lot of it stems from this sort of the Greeks called it hubris, right? Where you elevate yourself to the point of realizing that you control everything with your destiny. You basically supplant yourself as God, and at the end of the day, that was the original sin, is that Adam and Eve believed they were equal to God, which is why they fell. It was hubris.
Yeah, and you can't. Even if you kill God and try and steal the power of creation itself, what better thing are you going to create than love? So, like, what is all this transhumanism, metaverse nonsense going to achieve? Because they cannot create anything better than love, and so therefore, like, they cannot win. They're at war against that which they want.
But then
I thought
there was a
Eve was
yeah.
Adam and Eve were thrown out because they opened an OnlyFans.
I mean that too, but that's a lesser sin.
Fundamentally.
Let's give the floor to Flight Astro, my good friend.
Welcome, Flight Astro.
You were dying. And we also have my other good friend, Dago Supremacist, but he's a listener. Shout out to my boys. Shout out to Joe, who's been listening. Shout out to Gahul is in here as well. Shout out to Spen. Who is that? Yeah, Spendo Kush. You've been here for a long time. So yes, Flight Astro, please. Then we have to do super chats. And Chelsea, maybe you wanted to say something. My cute new fall. Hello, my cute new fall. I'm not gonna do the Paul Scholas bullshit.
Yeah.
Flight Astro, cute new follower.
It would be so awesome, by the way, if we actually had cameras so we could see all the people too. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure people would love doxing themselves on Twitter.
Hey,
I'd be more concerned about the goatee.
Gnostic Informant. Just tell Steph that I really appreciate his work on emotional intelligence, and just the simple fact that people don't even know that their emotions are telling them things. Like, it would seem that it was obvious.
Oh, also, before we go, I want to give Gnostic a final word because he is also a guest on the list. But Astro, please take it, my good friend. One of my best friends on Twitter.
Gio. Dude, you just got me so pumped by saying that. Thanks. Are you guys signing off, though? Because I wanted to ask a question.
Sure.
Segue into
sure,
a comment.
you can ask the question. The only thing that I would do before the question is I would say once again, all the people who are watching this on Twitter right now, share the live stream that's on YouTube to all the people you know, and we're also on Odyssey, so be sure to go to Odyssey and subscribe there as well. I mean, you could look at the Break the Rules.
Tell your friends you were in a big important stream. You got to talk. And you got to listen in on history.
Yes, exactly. And one last thing before that. Let's see, is there a last thing? No, there isn't. Go for it. Oh, wait, there is. Sorry, I forgot. I forgot. Hold on. One final thing I wanted to say is we have gotten confirmation that in the middle of January, we are going to have a person who is well respected in BTR back. So we are going to have Lord Miles coming back, and guess who he's going to be speaking with, Gio? Alexander Bard.
Oh my God,
that is going to be awesome. They both are aware of each other. They would love to speak. So anyway, Astro, go ahead.
Oh
wow. So do you guys?
Oh, you got cut off there. I can't.
Do you guys think nihilism and moral relativism are interchangeable, or do you think one caused the other? One causes the other.
I think one causes the other.
It was a systematic.
Nihilism, moral relativism, subjectivity, atheism is basically all just Satanism, and you end up feeling like shit and dying.
Exactly. 100%.
Yes.
Yeah. My question is, I don't think. Somebody earlier, like a long time ago, said that nihilism was poison, and of course it is. But
I said that.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with you. But the thing about nihilism is, like, it's not. I don't see it as like a mindset that certain people hold that perpetuates itself because of the perspective these people have, and that I don't think it can be combated with an alternative mindset.
I actually have a really good answer for you. Jordan Peterson's book, Maps of Meaning, explores this, and we actually have brain systems. So it's not facts versus feelings. It's literally that facts and feelings go hand in hand. The way your brain works is that you can philosophize yourself into nihilism, or nihilism can lead you to a philosophy. They're effectively like the information that you take in and your mental models plug into systems that regulate your emotions.
Yeah, 1,000%. I totally agree with that. But the thing is like, it's not like one dude reasoned himself into nihilism and then that idea spread. It's like nihilism gripped the people of a certain epoch, and then that sort of gotten handed down and perpetuated itself throughout the generations. So, like, of course, it's a negative feedback loop which I feel like is what you're saying with Jordan Peterson. But
well, I don't think there's
reality.
Yeah, say quick. Go ahead.
Sure, yeah, I'll just be quick. But like, I don't think. I mean, nihilism in the sense of like, you know, having a label on it as like a branch of continental philosophy or whatever certainly has like an origin point, a particular epoch. But I think if you're looking at it from a cosmic perspective, like nihilism's as old as time. Like if you look at the biblical creation story versus the creation stories in kind of the surrounding pagan tribes and in really most other societies, most of the other societies have what's called a succession myth. Where, you know, the chief god is Kronos and he's overthrown by Zeus, or the chief gods are Apsu and Tiamat and they're overthrown by Marduk or something like that. So you have this idea of a succession myth. You know, Baal is a successor god who overthrows a previous god, but you know, in the Christian one there is no succession myth. So you have this idea that like right down to the very like most fundamental bedrock of reality is this principle that is goodness and truth and beauty and justice. Whereas if you have a creation myth that is a succession myth, like I think you've basically embraced nihilism on some level, because there's this idea that like strength is what ought to be worshipped. Like, you know, Zeus, by the very definition of the fact that he had to overthrow a previous god, is not the alpha and omega, is not the ground of being, is not the embodiment and fountain of truth, justice, beauty, and goodness, right?
But,
so at that point, you've
yes, exactly.
Could you also?
Well, that goes back to Carl Jung and literally archetypes and mimetic warfare. Carl Jung said something along the lines of weak men are afraid to admit that the gods are real. And basically, Jesus overthrew the entire Roman Empire pantheon. And so, like, what you have is a bunch of gods, old gods, demons, angels, spirits, muses. All of that is real. You are literally doing you're like, that's Jungian psychology, is that you're doing battle with living psychic entities, and they're either going to possess you and control your life, or you're going to learn to get with what's happening and, like, you know, do battle, I guess, like a great man. And I don't know.
Well,
what do we do now, though? Like, what is our choice here? Like, what path forward do we have to combat nihilism? Because you can combat nihilism in your own life, but like
do the Wim Hof method. That's the.
You believe that?
I took a cold shower.
Depression.
I mean, I think to answer your question, like, you believe that, like what I said, you believe that at the ground of being is an entity that is truth, goodness, and beauty itself. That's what has the last word. That when you see through everything else and you see reality at its most ultimate, it is truth, goodness, beauty, justice, and love. And then you live into that.
But that's like that, yo, dude. I really like what you were saying.
I want to give you something real you can use, okay? So the Wim Hof breathing method hacks into your brain, and it basically turns off depression. But what I actually found about depression is that you actually have to give your emotions what they're looking for. They're telling you that you have something you need to address. So you have to once again go into objective reality. That's how you will conquer depression, not through pharmaceuticals or any of that stuff. But I was going to say that.
But bro,
back to God again.
Yeah, you're totally right. But what you're doing with Wim Hof breathing is you're just recentering yourself in your body, and it's not your mind, and you're taking control of your emotions. So I think any sort of practice like that, I would advocate any sort of practice that like recenters you in.
Yes, regulating your emotions, breathing, or drugs.
What it also started though. Hold on,
the need they're telling you about.
I got to get into this. Hold on. What it's ended up starting was, for those who are not aware, I mean, the people in the BTR chat, you are all already really aware of this, but for the people here on Twitter, maybe not. I started having the spinal fluid, kundalini, whatever you want to call it, starting to move up and down since I started doing all these breathing techniques. And again, like all the yogic books and things like that, they describe this as being this process of this energy, you know, this tantric energy being transmuted up through your spine into the third eye, and then ends up having this meeting with the divine and things like that. And that hasn't happened yet, but it does feel like ever since this has happened, there is this process that has slowly been going on physically in the back of the spine. And I do see a lot of references in terms of various various works of religious art, if we're talking about those birdmen with the pine cones and that tree, or even, the more recent things like the Rod of Caduceus and various things that point to there just being like this tower and two things side by side, like the Tower of Jachin and Bose, I think that's called, and then the Temple of Solomon. Or you would have other examples of these two opposites that you have to balance in between. And same thing in this tantric practice, where you have supposedly these three nadis, these three pillars inside, and you have to move this energy through the central pillar in order for it to get up. So whether or not this happens with me, I don't know, but it is an interesting thing that's currently going on, where I can actually testify to, yes, there is a liquid in my spine.
I think apotheosis the goal. Like, are we speaking apotheosis here? Because, like, that's a hell of a...
I think Quay...
Maybe not in this lifetime, maybe to a certain extent. I mean, I don't think it has to be a one-and-done deal in this particular life. That's the other thing, by the way, that I find strange when...
the way I see it is that I have a soul, which is an extension of God. So, like, if that is me putting due perspective on, like, yes, like, God is within me and everything, but my individual personal soul is, like, a different kind of thing. Where I can I can achieve enlightenment or whatever, but still give due respect to Jesus.
Well, that's a good point, but also, Quay, you brought up a good point about how this is as old as time itself in terms of nihilism, or rather disenchantment. Like, there is that one line from the Dialect of Enlightenment about the story of Odysseus blinding the Cyclops. That's like instrumental reason conquering myth. But I wanted to get everyone a chance to speak. So, Chelsea, you had something to say. Crocodile had something to say. But also, before we get to you two, I let in Ian and Gahul. So,
and we got to do some super chats as well.
And then after super chats, so we got to rush this. So, Gahul, do you want to go first, and then Ian?
Hey guys, before you go, I'm just gonna hop off. I'd never heard of BTR before. I don't know why this was recommended to me, but I just hopped in, and it's been a really cool ass conversation, and I'd love to talk to you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We have to get you on. Follow me back
and check out the channel.
And check us out.
Check out the channel. That's breaktherules.tv. We did many episodes, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of great things to come with us and yourself. So thank you so much for being here and participating.
So yeah. Lev, maybe DM.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, I followed you both back.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Lev,
what's up?
I had this Kundalini awakening experience about a year ago, and for the past year I've been following it, and every sign sort of, you know how you feel something's going to happen? I've been following that for a year, and every single sign has pointed to sort of a complete union, becoming one flesh with a woman, and it's sort of combined the Bible and Eastern spirituality for me, sort of a combination of the uncreated feminine divine and the word of God. So check out my account. I've been tweeting about it like crazy for I don't know, maybe 2 weeks. I started getting back into Twitter, so check it out, bro. If DM me if you have
have you
brother.
Have you ever heard the word syzygy? Syzygy?
No.
Look up the word syzygy. I think it's SYZ.
That's in the Kabbalah. Yeah, syzygy. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That's very nice.
So, Gahul, you're next, and then Crocodile.
Oh, wait, hold on. Before Gahul and Crocodile, I have one last thing to say. Hold on, I have one last thing to say, Gahul. Sorry, I'm stepping on you here, but there's one last thing that I just wanted, and we could focus on this for another episode of BTR, because these are a lot of fun, by the way. I really love these. But it is interesting to think about the feminine aspect of whether we're talking about the fourth element of the Trinity in Christianity, whether the feminine energy has been neglected within the modern revealed faiths. So that could be just we
run on the feminine energy. What are you talking about, Lev? Evola was 100% right. Never mind. Gahul, you're up next, my good friend.
Well, don't be talking about no feminine energy. That doesn't sound too cool to me, but...
No, I'm talking about like the tantric practices.
You guys talk a lot about nihilism, and it's something that you deal with a lot in day-to-day life. Not just with it's easy to fall into traps of nihilism, both mentally and spiritually, obviously, as you guys talk about. One of the things I don't think gets brought up enough is how damaging it is to friends and family to see them fall into nihilism. I don't know. There's not really a good solution to stopping people from falling into traps of it. What the fuck is that noise? That it's like a serious like spiritual drum beat. Like I don't know what that is. But no, I don't know. I just didn't. When you talk about nihilism and going through Christ is the right way to do it, obviously. But for a lot of people, taking right steps and showing them how to do breathing stuff like you were talking about, or even just like getting jobs and like going outside and like not being a shut-in, that can remove yourself from nihilism a lot. Because I mean, nihilism.
I have a manly spiritual answer. So what happens is you fuck up and you get horribly wounded over and over and over again until you sort your shit out. So it just naturally solves itself. Thank God.
Right. I think one of the reasons why nihilism is so prevalent nowadays, especially with people like younger people, is I don't know. Maybe it's just because there's a lack of, maybe for guys especially, a lack of employment leaves a lot of time on your hands. And the more time you spend overthinking things, will lead you down nihilism sometimes if you're not spiritually guided, obviously.
Yeah, that's true.
I think the more time you spend dwelling on things allows your mind to go to darker places and become more depressed and anxious.
So maybe bread and circuses is a good thing. Could that be?
Only very few can handle the neat life. Only very few creative people.
Well, if you're a true creative type, a neat life isn't even a neat life. It's just you doing what you're supposed to be doing with your life.
Exactly. Thank you, Cahul. You understand.
Yeah.
You understand.
Yeah.
But how many people even have examples of that shit? That's the problem. Not a lot of people have examples to follow as far as how to lead a good life. Like, who has very inspirational parents or family. Okay, this is the other thing, by the way. I'm very lucky to have a very good family, and I don't know if this is the case for a lot of people. Like, one thing I'm thinking about is, hell, maybe most families are just really fucked up. I don't know. Is this correct or no? I don't know.
Everyone needs to go to Patreon and give them money because we're providing. Well, they're providing. I'm just an asshole, but they're providing mentorship and hope. Also, check out Jonathan Peugeot talking about how cursing is taking things and making them profane, like abusing the sacred. But like,
speaking of
Peugeot, speaking of Peugeot,
thank you. Speaking of Jonathan Peugeot, go ahead, Lev. Tell them what we're gonna do.
Styx, Hex, and Hammer 666 and Jonathan Peugeot this Thursday.
Debate Christianity versus paganism.
It is happening. It is happening. I am very excited.
Oh, it's going to be
8 a.m. 8 a.m. BreakTheRules.tv. That's where you go. Subscribe to Odyssey as well, and subscribe to Facebook. Did you know that Break the Rules is on Facebook, of all places? Yes, it is. So go there, find it.
On Boomer Book.
On Boomer Book, Metaverse Book, exactly.
We're gonna have these spaces in the metaverse one day. So, Kundalini, final thoughts. The Gnostic.
And then Super Chats. And then Super Chats. We got to do Super Chats.
So the way I want to speak to the point that I think Quay made about comparing Christianity to these other ideas, and I think if we want to trace this to a more modern, or our modern age is this post-enlightenment idea, right? So we're in this kind of secular enlightened age. But if you ask me, a lot of this nihilism stuff does stem from that. That is like the evolution of that nihilistic idea, and that's where it is again, that antichrist thing where it's masquerading as this kind of like secular but still based on Christian values. But I think a lot of this stuff does come from France, specifically I'm a French like with like Robespierre and stuff, and like a Marquis de Sade, and I kind of think a lot of this stuff. I think Marquis de Sade was really that kind of like anti-John the Baptist, where he really predicted everything that's going to be going on, and
Well, and that goes back to the Bavarian Illuminati with Adam Weishaupt.
100%.
He designed pseudo mystical jargon because people want the mystery, but he was just like, we're just going to bullshit them and then wage war against God, and we're just going to use the manipulation of language and the confusion of signifier and signified to just
right. But
France sucks.
But that's why I would say is that a lot of stuff is based on Marquis de Sade, because he wasn't very mystified. I mean, he laid out in detail all his perverse desires and stuff, and I think we're seeing that right now. There was a space, or there's been multiple spaces with Radfem Hitler and stuff. Like with like women talking about how disgusting and hellish porn is right now, and it totally is like a deciding kind of world. So I think where we're in right now is the kind of logical endpoint of the Enlightenment.
I got a bit of a counter to it.
In white coats.
I got.
They have a metal lunar sacrament.
I got a bit of a counter to this, though.
Well, even if you read a... Oh, go ahead, Lev.
So my counter to this is if you're thinking about, let's say, pre-revolutionary France, they used to do these very casual get-togethers where they used to drink tea and eat bread or frogs or whatever the hell they ate, and they used to watch people being tortured on the rack, on the wheel, having their limbs torn to shreds. And this is just like a basic thing. Hold on. Damn, open app again. Hold on, I'm getting back in there. Hold on. Reconnect to space.
I think
hey, I'm back.
I think his blue stack crashed again.
Yes, I'm back. I am back. Everything is fine. So,
oh, sorry.
Okay, yeah. I don't know where I cut off, but I'm just going to say that the people in pre-revolutionary France, they were just sitting down, drinking tea or whatever, watching people on the rack getting their limbs torn, and this was like a very casual thing. Today, people wouldn't really accept this. They would see this as being barbaric, which it is. So as far as where do we place what is considered to be degenerate?
You would think that thing is barbaric, but if you look at French cinema and look at French art throughout the last 20th century, that symptom of torture, especially, it's Middle Europe, there's a lot of this, like Italy, France, some Germany as well. All of us film throughout most of the 20th century has been very, very torture heavy, especially in France.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not literally doing it anymore, but they're fulfilling that desire.
Yeah, but that's still,
I'm not sure if it's cultural.
but that's still a big difference, I'd say, as far as desire versus actually doing the thing. I think that there is not a small difference.
Why do you
I think
think me and Gahul watch deathmatch wrestling?
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, in a sense, you're right, but it's interesting that it's only France and certain other areas of Europe that produces an art house film, whereas most other parts of the world, I mean, Korea, I guess, too, but...
By the way, I love...
it's not...
Korea especially has that as well. Yeah, they do.
And Japan to a certain extent.
What I would say to that is the idea, so I'm saying, so these kind of post-Enlightenment ideas, not just of Marquis de Sade, but because he was in the middle of the French Revolution, watching Robespierre, because, Robespierre is the kind of model of what would later be Hitler, Stalin, Pol Pot, So we see that we are in this new era, this new post-Enlightenment era, where this death and destruction that was always there. Of course, I'm not saying it was better before, but now it's much more industrialized. It's much more sophisticated. It's under this veneer of
separation. There's at least one layer of separation where it's fictional, or even if it's not fictional, it's not happening to me directly, or I didn't cause it, But it's still the act of viewing and observing and providing entertainment from someone else's suffering in this sense.
Then the question is, hold on. I have something I got to say here. This is then the question, and this is actually very appropriate. This is a question of how do we go through the muck of all the shocking things that are seen, because I'm sure everybody's familiar with the shock sites like Goatsay. I'm sure everybody knows the Goatsay Man, right? So, Gio, when did you see Goatsay Man for the first time?
Oh, I saw that way back in like the Encyclopedia Dramatica days. It had to have been I don't know, 2008.
How old were you?
Well, back in my day when I was the real old people over here, back in
my day.
Yes. So I saw Goatsay around 2003. So
when I was downloading it off of LimeWire.
So, but what I did is I transmuted that. Hold on, Gio.
No, it's funny.
No, go on. I got something I want to say about Goatsay Man, but first, finish your point. All right, I'm gonna talk.
No, well, my point's a bit long. I was just going to. Oh fuck! Go ahead, Lev.
Okay. So how I transmuted this, this scarring from seeing the Goatsay Man, from seeing this dark hole.
Tub girl.
How I transmuted that, because that is in a way like the opposite of the light that you would get from the third eye. It's a brown eye. But anyway, it's like this gapping brown eye. But anyway, here's how I transmuted this. I recently found this document that I wrote in 2003, and it's the hold on, somebody's breathing into the mic, and I want total quiet here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute everybody using my power. So here we go. Okay, so what I decided to do is this. I wrote a movie, not did a movie. I wrote a movie about the Goatsay Man, but I think I only wrote what I have here, which is the chapters of the movie. So I wanted to first write the chapters of the movie, and then eventually write the movie about the Goatsay Man. His name would have been Bob Goatsay. And here are the chapters. Goatsay needs no introduction. Meat grinder, catching a burglar, the incident with the goat, the escape, blind for life, the discovery, mafia's advice. So I basically wanted Goatsay to have something with the Italian mafia, like there would have been some kind of connection there. Overnight sensation.
What?
Yes. Overnight sensation. Gaps make money. First show. My name is Goatsay. In the money. Bail me out. Goatsay in the gap. Let's see. Jail time blues. 10 years later. Freedom calls. Wild change. The giver. You remember Geo on Goatsay.cx? They would have like the giver, the receiver, and anyway.
Oh God.
Yes. Fame no more. Fake death. I want recognition. The true gap. Conclusion. Ending credits. So the true gap, that sounds kind of like, you remember those meme posts, the ones with the iceberg, and they like go down with the various conspiracy theories? The true gap, that would be like at the end of the Goatsay iceberg conspiracy. So anyway, I'm unmuting
Lev,
everybody.
you muted everyone just to tell them you're howling Alan Ginsberg Goatsy fantasy, slam poetry.
But
so when's Goatsy on Ice coming out, buddy?
So I think we should go to super chats.
Yes, let's go to.
We have to do a stream with you as well, my friend. I want to talk to you about pro wrestling. I want to talk to you about different things.
Well, before I have to leave, but I want to say Merry Christmas to everyone. I have to
Merry Christmas. Merry
Go
Christmas.
watch
Merry
Conspiracy on his channel. Merry Christmas, my friend.
Merry Christmas. I hope you get all you wish for and you get to spend time with your family. Peace, everyone. Peace and love.
All right, so we got some super chats, and Gnostic Informer, I hope you're here with us because some of these are directed towards you, I believe. So here we go.
I'm here.
So excellent. So Fur Panada, $5. What's your take on Glorian publishing the Gnostic Teachings podcast? Have you guys heard of him?
Gnostic Teachings?
Yes, Glorian publishing the Gnostic Teachings podcast. I don't know what this is. This was the super chat. I don't know.
I might have heard of him. I just can't think of him right now. But yeah, I don't know. I have to look into it.
All right, no problem. Next, the ABC 123456399, $5. Geo, how did you become so based? Asking for a friend.
The basedist chose me. I did not choose to be based. It came upon me. My father, actually. I attribute a lot of my baseness to my father. So,
excellent.
Believe it or not, I know he's a based boomer. And soon, actually, we're going to set up the debate between me and my father over a certain nation in the Middle East. But
during that debate, I would love that debate to start. I would love for your father to put on the Goofy mask and to just take like the bell to walk into your room and say it's Goofy time. That's how the debate's gonna start.
Oh my God! Everything's a meme. Oh no!
Next.
Oh boy.
Next, because he's gonna whip your ass when it comes to Israel.
Someone said in the chat, Jay Dyer versus Gnostic Informant. If we could get Jay Dyer on, that would be a.
No, I think somebody said Jay Dyer versus the Goatsay Man. Is that did I misread that, or did somebody? Yes. Wait. Yeah. No. Oh, Gnostic Fellow. Wait, nobody said that? That was just in my head? Oh, shit. That's not good.
That was in your head, Lev, yes. You're disassociating, you're going into a fugue state.
I think one of your altars is fronting.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know,
we could theoretically like pay a lot of money to Kirk Johnson, who is the guy who is the Goatsay Man, to do a stream with us. I think we can, we could like buy, for his regular operations or whatever he has to go through right now. I mean, you think like you do that much damage, and anyway.
I wonder if we could have another stream with Tishrei. That's probably I don't know. That would have been good. I was looking forward to it, but I guess it didn't.
By the way, the best stream.
But it's amazing how we had this conversation.
Yes, this is a great conversation. By the way, the best stream would be Jay Dyer versus Goat Say's actual like gaping asshole, which is just going wah 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 wah.
Let's read the super chats, please. Don't. Just please.
Would it go through Wumbo? Like the Wumbo face added to it?
Oh my god. Next super chat,
Jay Dyer would like wear like the exorcism you see.
Oh, no.
Like the power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you. And the Goat Say gap would be
just please don't dig yourself, please. No. I rebuke you.
You could pour holy water on you, dude.
No, there is a allegation against
if he sprays holy water into the. Okay, never mind. Okay, next.
Go. I wanted to read a quote from Byung-Chul Han, but that's never gonna happen. Go ahead.
Man, okay. Next, we're gonna have okay. Constellations Constantinople, $5. Gnostic is right. The church was the original cancel culture. Canceling lives rather than Twitter accounts. Him and Geo should have a formal debate. Maybe, I don't know if you're
that was
interested.
Modern Hermeticist.
Yeah. Well, maybe, I don't know, Gnostic, if you're interested, we could do a Patreon-only formal debate. What do you think?
Yo, that sounds like fun, dude. I'm down for that.
Excellent. Thank you. I look forward to that after the Israel
Or we could
debate
have a public
Geo's
one with
date.
tag team. I could bring someone. Gnostic could bring someone.
Sure, we could do that too. Yeah.
I'm definitely down for that. And it's not about winning the debate. It's about both of us getting our arguments out uninterrupted until we educate people. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. All right. Excellent.
And the friends we made along the way.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe
we have to bring in classic theists against.
How do they say?
Classic theists versus.
How do they say? By the way, in Memory TV, maybe the real jihad was the friends we made along the way. Anyway. Jord, $8.99. If you smoke enough methamphetamine. Oh, no. Before that, Tux loves you. I can't believe I forgot. Tux loves you. $5. Don't forget to sneed those super chats. That's right. Like when I'm reading the super chats right now.
It never gets old.
Yeah, there's an opportunity to sneed more. Anyway, then George says for €8.99. If you smoke enough amphetamine, you realize that time is a spiral and it works both ways.
Very true. Not that I would know.
You're not on enough Vyvanse for that, Geo.
I've took my dose, actually. It's wearing off.
I love this comment from Facile Goose. And if you gaze too long into the goat say stares back into you.
I love how Facile Goose, he's a loyal listener, but he's a total asshole to me on Twitter. I love that.
Well, he's a silly goose. Well, what can you say? Next, we have.
I love it when a hot woman calls a man that. That's amazing.
Yes.
Yo, you silly goose.
Next, we have another one from George for €8.99. Is Geo going to address the controversy around his name being found in Epstein's big blue book?
Listen.
Yeah, how are those massages, Geo?
Everyone knows I love mommy GFs, and Ghislaine just came to me one night saying you're going to be a big, important content creator, e-celebrity, and Peter Thiel is also. Never mind. I can't disclose the court documents. I can't. But let's just say that Ghislaine fulfilled all of my mommy GF fantasies, and I regret nothing. Okay, I regret nothing. So there you go.
Excellent. Next, man, George is on fire. George sent in 2 more super chats for €8.99. Thank you so much. Okay.
Oh, God.
Ever since I started drinking my own spinal fluid, a whole new world of possibilities has opened up for me. Oh Lord, thank you.
Apparently, the spinal fluid it drains or something when you take LSD. Or it depletes or something.
Yeah, well, I never took LSD.
Oh yeah, I've heard if people crack their back funny, they'll have another trip.
Yeah, something like that.
No, I never took LSD. I only took the Terrence McKenna heroic dose of mushrooms one time.
Yeah, me too.
With my girlfriend at the. Sorry, Gio. I don't mean to. I know that came
out. Was it the Chinese or Japanese one?
Chinese girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
Or was it Laotian?
It was in no, it was no. Man, there's this very beautiful Laotian girl who was married to Daniele Bolelli. I believe she's from Laos, and we had her on Break the Rules like way back in the day. I would love to have her back on. Her name is Savannah M, and she's an MMA fighter, and she's really awesome. Anyway,
Oh,
yes. No, she is very beautiful. Anyway, Jord A99. Lev thinks everyone has basic things like parental support and a collection of black cubes. Okay, I'm not going to speak to the black cubes, but with the parental support, my whole point was absolutely not. My whole point was that people don't have this shit. And I'm curious, like, how many families are just very dysfunctional, like parents that don't have any sense of connectedness with each other at all, who are just kind of phoning it in. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's common or what's not. I only know what I live, so it's a weird situation, you know? Like, how many people are just pretending and saying, like, yeah, everything's fine, and meanwhile it's just, like, all chaotic, and I don't know. That's a difficult thing, because people make these proclamations about, like, how other people should live and how societies were and how societies are now, but I don't know how most families really are right now. Like, what is the best model to make it work? Like, I assume the best model would just be to at least have somebody that can act as a guiding figure, especially for boys. I think it's important to have a man to guide them as far as how to act in life. And anyway, next super chat, Croin Kicks, $5. Hulabeck. How did I say? Look, I'm no Hulabeck girl. Is that how it goes? Anyway, Croin Kicks, $5. Hulabeck wrote very well about the sacred and secular in the modern world. He said, pun intended. What was the pun there? I didn't see it.
Wrote very well, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know either, but either way, Croy Kicks, I appreciate that. Last one, another one from Jordan, A99. Another one from Jordan. Yes.
Sorry, if you read the one Houellebecq passage about sexual dynamics and how sexuality becomes like a foil of acceptance in like the modern world, like that's like spot on. Anyways, go ahead.
There's a transformer.
Oh, use OPSEC words here. Use OPSEC words.
Hold on.
This one.
Oh, thank you. I want to know everybody's status of the sacrament, of receiving the sacrament.
I have the natural sacrament of immunity.
Hold on, something's wrong with the audio. I'm hearing the audio is like going all robotic. Is everybody else hearing the audio going all robotic? Somebody else speak.
I think it's just you.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, because I want to do this as a test, I'm not going to end this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to exit this Nox player that I'm using and go back into this feed as a test. Because look, this is the end of the stream. How many people are watching this, I don't know. But this is going to be a 55, 61. That's even more than 55.
Oh.
Yeah, that's actually not bad. So hold on, let me see what I can do here. So I am going to close this. Well, figure out how to close this. Let's see. Okay, bear with me. I'm going to close the Nox player here for a second. So bear with me. Okay, I'm closing this player. See, this is what happens when I use an emulator, people. I try to do a good job of making sure that everything works with the tech. But look, sometimes things happen. Sometimes things don't work. So I use this Android. Be fucking grateful, by the way, that I figured out how to do this. That I figured out how to... I mean, look at Gio. Gio, do you even hear me right now? I don't know. But anyway, be grateful that I figured out how to actually make this work. So hopefully bringing this right back, the audio is going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be dandy. So here we go. Going back into the space. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, come on. What is it? Frozen? Is that what's going on? Did you freeze on me? Anyway, yeah, Twitter isn't responding.
Not.
Whoa, hold on. We had it back. Gonna bring it right back. Again, this is what I'm working with, people. Here we go. Here we go. Almost there. Almost there. We are almost back. Reconnect to space.
Look at these comments.
We're back!
Woo! Maybe. I don't know. I mean, probably not. Probably not.
We're back! Gio, we're back. Okay, everybody.
Oh, thank God.
Everybody's okay. Listen, people. This is what happens when you're in the wild west of technology. Cause this is. I don't know anybody else who is streaming like this. So first of all, count your lucky fucking stars that we get to even have a stream like this in the first place, where I'm using an Android emulator, which is probably full of viruses and Chinese spyware. But I do it for
Geo,
you.
you're typing.
Yes, you're typing,
Oh,
Gio.
sorry.
Yes. So anyway, I do this for you people because I love you, and it's tough love, especially for all the online radicals out there. It is tough love because if you want to solve a problem and you're going about it the wrong way and you're just going to cause a bunch of chaos, then I'm going to call you out on that shit. I'm going to call you out for all the bad things that you want to do and for all the stupid things that you want to do, because I do love you and it's a tough love. So anyway.
No, I'm the good parent, though. I will enable you, okay? You're right.
You're the cool parent.
I'm the cool parent.
You're a friend.
Cyber Ninja.
You're the cool wine-and.
The cool. Oh my God! Don't give in, Geo. Cyber Ninja Zero says Chad Higg versus Alexander Bard. I know the connection on that stream would be absolutely terrible, but that would be an amazing futurism versus.
We're talking about actually. There was a separate post on Alexander Bard's group messaging email list where he was actually asking to speak with him first. So he's so Alexander is interested.
We can set that up.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about it right now. I was in talks with Chad. The only issue is time. So Alexander is just gonna have to night owl it. He's gonna have to go like 12:30 a.m. in order for this to happen. So maybe it'll happen. I hope it'll happen. We just have to work it out. So. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing! One step closer to the edge of Anprim versus transhuman versus technofuturism.
Wait, ABC. Hold on. ABC says that his needs were not being read. This is because when they will be read because when I go into the Streamlabs thing, they may not all be showing up. So ABC, my apologies. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I am going to find your super chat. So just give me a moment to do this. While we're doing that, Gio, do you want to read some of the people who are watching this? Do some shout outs?
Yeah, sure. Shout out again to
and also the Twitter people, and also the Twitter people shout outs as well.
Yeah, Twitter people. A lot of people that have been listening from the beginning. Like I can see Randall Gary, Joe, Joseph Innesy. Let's see, who else do we have? Invalid upon entry. Joe. Nicholas Delgado Pia? Yeah, I think that's how you say it. Gator.
Wait, is that the Gator? Is that the Gator from
No, it's not the Gamer Gator. No. Hover Dogs, haven't seen you in a while, bro. You gotta come on BTR again. And also to the people in the chat, we have ABC, of course, Hopper, Facile Goose, Philip Daniel, who I'm going to actually work on the series of monoprints.
Nice.
To his album, his miniature EP that he did. Ding Dong, Hopper,
Ding Dong.
Ding Dong, Chris Chiston, I can't pronounce that. Elon Bust Insider. Cyber Ninja Zero, that's Strawberry Guy. Kron Kicks. We got.
By the way, Gio,
Onward Podcast, my good friend.
Wait, by the way, real quick, Elon Bust would be when Elon Musk transhumanizes the mommy milkers.
There you go. Oh my God. Jord, No Name, Homework Sucks. Let's see who else got Big Brain Content, M Reaper, Howdrell, who has been posting like a madman in the chat. We got Alagon, and we also have.
And we have Shitcoin Steve. We got Shitcoin Steve in the house.
Shitcoin Steve, Red Sulfur, No Name.
WebM Aristocrat, Dust Bunny DX,
Moral Outrage Prophet, and Razua, and I think that's pretty much it.
Excellent.
If I missed you, I'm sorry. But also, please, patreon.com/breaktherules.
That's right.
$5 will get you special access to the streams. our Discord special areas. You
Yeah,
also get first dibs.
beautiful magnets for the $20 patrons. My father creates beautiful wooden magnets made out of high quality wood. $30 gives you a beautiful print from Giovanni Pennacchietti, and $50 gives you all of the above, plus the Bob Ross style painting, plus the Warhammer 40K figures from painted by Jules P. Hamilton, plus let's see what else.
Poster print of any stream that you like.
Yes, and also all the patrons get access to the MP3s of the episodes after they come out. I'm going to be releasing these ones definitely as well. Like, this is turning out to be a very successful venture utilizing this new technology, which Clubhouse did not have, by the way, because I don't have an iPhone. But this is good, especially since a lot of people here are on Twitter. So anyway, here are the lost super chats from ABC. Okay, here we go. Geo Grifter here. Christianity is the final solution. Next we have another one. Geo TFW no mommy just lane GF Prince when. Oh man.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna try, by the way, to get Kristan on. Kristan T Harris, BTR regular. He is currently one of the reporters, one of the very few reporters reporting at the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. So he's there every day of the trial, and he's going to be breaking it down for us, hopefully, when he does this. I still didn't see the date. Maybe Thursday, maybe Friday. We'll figure it out. Geo, where did you go? Geo, where did you go? I am not seeing Geo here. I don't know where Geo is. Oh, man. No, I see Geo in the chat thing here, but yeah, I don't know. So anyway, hopefully Geo comes back before I finish this, but I just want to say a big thank you to Geo and everybody here for joining and doing this. This is a labor of love. Patreon.com/breaktherules, and also we're on all the mobile platforms as well. So if you have people who only listen to their iPod, for example, what is wrong with me? How old am I? If you have people who listen to their iTunes, whatever. I'm not an iPhone user. I don't know how that works, but give them the MP3 version of this stream. And you could find all the links at our link tree if you go to the Twitter, if you go to Break the Rules on Twitter. I never promote Break the Rules on Twitter, so I'm going to do it right now. So here we go. Break the Rules on Twitter. And I have a message from Nina Paley, apparently, who says Twitter Spaces, blah, 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 blah. Got rid of the... Okay, I'm not going to get into that right now. Hopefully we're going to have Nina Paley on as well. Now, even though Gio is not here, I want to promote his work. So, guys, support Giovanni Pennacchietti by going to twitter.com/giant-geo. That is Gio's Twitter space. So go there right now. Follow him if you have not been following him yet. Also, youtube.com/giantartproductions. That is his YouTube. Check out his stuff there. And you could check out my stuff at twitter.com/LevPo, LEVPO. So follow me on Twitter right now. I'm the one who's hosting this thing, so it's very easy to find my icon. Find me on Twitter. Message me on Twitter if you have any thoughts about Break the Rules, things that you want to see happen, any other thoughts. And also, youtube.com. I hardly plug this because I'm not doing that much work on it right now because I had to do like moving and things like that. But youtube.com/Lev Polyakov. I'm going to be starting the art streams pretty soon, hopefully, and look out for those as well. So the art streams are coming in. Hold on, what is going on here? Here we go, youtube.com/Lev Polyakov. So follow me there. Where was I typing the geo things? Because they're not showing up in the chat. Anyway, I'm going to see what's going on there. I'm going to figure all this out. But guys, thank you so much for watching Break the Rules. I really appreciate it. Any final thoughts, Gnostic Informant? Because you were our guest of honor today. You came in when we were in the bind, and I really appreciate the heaven out of you for doing that. So let me know.
Yeah, real quick, just want to say, Jordan Peterson actually wrote about this in 12 Rules. If you want to change the world, you got to change yourself first. You can't change everyone else if you're broken. You got to start from within. Carl Jung talks about integrating the shadow And when you see somebody that you disagree with that you can't stand, it might be something within yourself that's causing you to see that. So try to understand the other side as much as you can, and fix yourself. Be the best version of yourself, and that's how we change the world, one person at a time.
Sounds good, brother. I appreciate that. And with that, this is it. This is the end of the stream. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget, Styx versus Jonathan Peugeot. That is happening on Thursday. And we're going to have a lot more wonderful streams for you to come in. Follow all these great speakers on Twitter as well. And I look forward to talking some more and having this conversation and growing with everybody here. So thank you so much. Also youtube.com, breaktherules.tv for all the Twitter people. Once again, this is my final plea. All the Twitter people who are watching this, who are in this particular conversation, what do you call it, the Twitter space. All of you, just type in breaktherules.tv, type that in, type it right now, and just click the subscribe button on the YouTube. We gotta grow the YouTube. Same thing with the Odyssey. We gotta grow Odyssey. We gotta grow all this stuff. So anyway, this is it. Mwah! Good night, everybody. God bless and goodbye. Here we go. Now